Hi, and welcome back to Coco Disaster, the world's newest, most premier anime podcast.
The first ever episode
of this brand new series. We actually just changed the name a little.
You bet.
Like, literally the most minimal we could.
Yeah. I don't know, you put in a lot of work. You have to get a new iTunes and everything.
Yeah, we have to do a lot of work for it.
Yeah.
But we just changed the name a little bit.
Yeah, and the logo.
Yeah, making it a little more professional, as they say.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah, but we're still here to talk about anime and anime-related items.
You bet, but mostly anime.
Right. And that doesn't change this episode, because today, we're looking forward to the fall 2016 anime season.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of shows out.
There are so many shows out.
There are so many shows, and it was hard to curate this well-crafted list we've put together.
Yeah.
Of shows we're going to watch. But we're going to do it. And we're going to tell you about it.
Mm-hmm.
But first...
We're
going to tell you some news.
Tell me about the news.
Well, first up, the biggest news, I think, in English anime industry history... Well, it's big.
Yeah, it is. It is big. Yes.
It is definitely big, is that Crunchyroll and Funimation have partnered together to expand anime access.
Yeah.
And that's kind of big.
That is a big deal.
These are the two, I think it's safe to say, largest English anime companies.
Two largest in America, at least.
Yeah, definitely for America. And they have partnered together, sort of, I'm not sure if it's in response to the increasing amount of other services that are doing like simulcast stuff, or if this just made sense for kind of what the two companies are trying to expand into.
I think it probably just makes sense for them financially, because right now they have to like get into huge bidding wars mostly against just each other for anime, and that sucks.
Yeah, they announced something like it sometimes big title shows come down to like $200,000 an episode.
Yeah. And
that's nuts.
That is a lot.
And I think this way it kind of cuts down on that. It reeks a little of like this kind of a weird monopoly in terms of this industry, but you know, I think overall it's a pretty good thing.
This is like when Hulk Hogan and Macho Man Randy Savage teamed up. It's like,
exactly
who do you have
like
to fight against that? Nobody.
Right.
So why do you even do that?
So Crunchyroll's going to be handling the same as it always has.
Yeah.
But Funimation now is going to be focusing specifically on dubs, English language dubs.
Hell yeah.
And also the disc distribution for both series.
Right.
And basically... now they're going to be bidding on shows with the other groups that do it, like Daisuke and stuff like that. But they're going to be working together, so Crunchyroll handles the subs, Funimation handles the dubs, and sort of their catalogs eventually are going to be, like, exactly the same, minus the language options.
Does Daisuke even have to bid on anything? I figured certain shows are just funneled straight into there by the producers.
Daisuke does, I think, Daisuke now has, like a membership at least, so you do have to pay for it, so I assume some money has to go through.
Okay.
But I don't know if they bid.
But Daisuke is like partially owned by like Bandai and Sunrise or whatever, stuff like that.
Because I don't think Daisuke has like many exclusives.
No, I guess not.
Like I think the most exclusive thing they had was technically One Punch Man if you don't count Hulu.
Yeah. Which I don't, because Hulu sucks.
Right. And also another thing that's like America only.
Yeah.
And Funimation along with this is kind of doing like an overhaul of their site.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Thank God.
they're opening a UK Ireland branch of their site. They're trying to build a new site. I think they're opening up apps for, you know, like PlayStation, Xbox, stuff like that. And hopefully they're gonna, you know, make their video player even better.
I hope.
That would be nice.
I think you could just say better in case of the Funimation video player.
You're right. But I think, what Funimation for a while seems to have been focusing more on dubbed content anyways.
Yeah.
Like, just between the sheer amount of, like, broadcast dubs they're trying to do and everything, and just kind of their MO and how they handle it.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed like this was sort of... This seems like a move that could be expected, is like, they want to focus on that part of it, and they can hand the rest of it off to another company.
Yeah. It seems like a good move for them, and a good move for us, because now we pay one subscription for presumably most of both's content.
Yeah.
It's just not that good for the anime industry, because now there's this one collective that has just a ton of leverage.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. And so it's like, yeah, it's weird, because I think this means that they're hoping to open up the rights to a lot of these shows as well. Because Funimation is pretty exclusively, like, North America. And it looks like some of the shows that they've brought over are at least opening up to, like, European countries.
Yeah. But I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of shows would have to be renegotiated. Like, a lot of licenses would have to be renegotiated based on this.
Yeah, because I'm sure distributors in other countries, like, all the anime or whatever,
yeah.
like, for Australia, already have some of these rights.
But even rights that, like, Crunchyroll and Funimation already had may have to be renegotiated just based on clauses that would prevent this sort of thing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But who knows?
It's a weird thing.
It is a weird thing, yeah.
I guess just as things go forward, we'll have to see what happens with it.
I'm glad. Remember when I said that I would watch D. Gray Man if I could just watch it on the Crunchy player?
Uh-huh.
I bluffed. I'm sorry. I'm still not gonna watch it.
Damn! But they did it.
Yeah. It is up there.
It's there. Along with a couple other things from this season.
Yeah.
But yeah, and also Cowboy Bebop. Everyone loves that.
Oh yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah. So we'll have to see how that turns out later.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems like it's taking the best of both companies and putting them together.
Yeah.
Now, in different other news, maybe a little less,
good.
English Shonen Jump picked up The Promised Neverland.
Yeah.
So it's officially part of the Shonen Jump catalog.
Hopefully that means it'll get the serialized releases as well.
Mm-hmm. And has there been any... I don't think I've heard any news about the other two series, but they also did the Jumpstart thing later than The Promised Neverland.
Yeah.
Do you know anything about that? Guy with the Shonen Jump?
I know that they're not good, so they're
okay.
probably not going to get picked up by Shonen Jump themselves.
So did you check both of them, or just Red Sprite?
Just Red Sprite, because the other one I could just write off based on the premise.
Right, which is basically just like, this dude is surrounded by ladies.
Well, yeah. And Red Sprite was just... it was weird because it had a very similar orphanage, but there's something bad going on beneath the floorboards setup that The Promised Neverland did. Mm-hmm. And then it took it into a way different and way more generic direction, and I was just not interested at all.
Yeah, when I saw... You sent, like, a picture of it, and it seemed like it was just like, this child with a sweet sword is handling an airship, and that, that seems alright.
Yeah.
But then you said it was weird.
It was weird.
And, like, had to do with, like, turning children into fuel.
Yeah.
And that's weird.
I think it is, like, good to have this in the magazine, like the Japanese version at least, just because there are no really, like, classic shonen adventure-style manga left in that magazine anymore. Except for One Piece.
Like, World Trigger wouldn't count?
World Trigger kinda, but it's very much just based on the town they're in, or at least the part that I watched. Like, it's, because the World Triggers, that's not what they're called, but whatever. The people, the main characters are basically policemen, so I don't think they really travel the world or go on big adventures. Okay,
and Black Clover...
Black Clover is, yeah. There are still a couple, but it's just not as focused on that anymore as it used to be.
Yeah, it definitely seems like it's branching out a lot more, and so... I don't know. A typical shonen adventure, like a new one, might be interesting to see.
Yeah.
But maybe
not
Red
Sprite. That's not interesting at all.
Not this one.
Nope.
Speaking of other new things, Gen Urobuchi has announced that he is going to be penning the next Godzilla film. following in the wake, I guess, of Shin Godzilla, which was written by Ano Hideaki.
And directed, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I believe Gen Urobuchi's just writing it, and is then doing it with Polygon Pictures,
Okay.
which is the Ajin and
The 3D boys.
yeah, the 3D ones.
Yeah.
Those ones. Which, I mean, who knows? I mean, for better or worse, Polygon Pictures has the best CG in the anime market.
Yeah, totally. Well, I don't know. The people that are now with Hideaki Anno's studio that did Cassette Girl, they're pretty good at it too.
Best full CG, I guess, because they don't do any 2D stuff. So
well then,
I think in that case,
then how about Square Enix CGI Works, the team that did Kingsglaive and Advent Children?
Dang, they're really good.
They are really good.
They're really good at what they do. I guess that's just for films, though. I mean, Polygon Pictures does anime as well.
Yeah,
so maybe it's within anime.
Sure.
Because I don't call Kingsglaive anime, I call it art.
Right, yeah, me too.
Other quick movie things. Studio Ghibli just did that collaboration with that French studio, I believe, the Red Turtle.
Right.
And it was done by I think it was a Dutch director as well. A lot of good things have been coming out of it, and apparently Hayao Miyazaki has even said that watching this movie has kind of made him want to come out of retirement.
Oh my god.
I want to work with the team that did this. He just can't get out.
He can't. And that's
Every
not surprising.
time he tries to get out, he's
they pull me back in.
They find a reason for me to want to do it again.
Yeah.
And I would like to check out the Red Turtle at some point. It does seem really neat as a dialogue-free movie.
Yeah.
Something I feel that just doesn't happen a lot.
No, that's pretty rare.
Yeah, and plus, it's, Studio Ghibli always does good work. On one front or another.
Yeah.
Yeah. Other movies, Lupin the Third getting a new movie.
Whoa.
And it's based on Goemon.
Oh, right.
The samurai character.
I know about this.
Yeah. I think it's being done by the same group who did the woman called Fujiko Mine and the Daisuke Jigen movie.
That makes sense, yeah.
And if nothing else, the style on those is really good. I haven't checked those out myself yet.
I haven't seen them either, but yeah, they do look really good.
Yeah, they look really good. It's a little more on the manga side of the tone of Lupin the Third rather than the anime, because the anime's always been a lot goofier, and the manga has always been a little darker, a little more serious.
Yeah.
And so it'll be interesting to see, especially since Goemon is sort of, I feel like, the character that most exemplifies that part of the style. Since he's basically just the assassin for hire samurai sort of character. He never goofs in the same way, even the anime.
He never goofs, you're right.
Yeah, so he always seemed like the more serious sort of character that would go along with that tone.
Yeah.
But still, it should be cool. Lupin is pretty cool.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm excited to see more of it, honestly. In the modern age.
Yeah.
Let's see. Continuing on with movies, Battle Angel Alita by James Cameron is still apparently a thing that's being worked on. Even if it's never going to come out. Because we have to wait for the rest of the Avatar movies.
Yeah, I mean, he has to make one based on every book. And then the Korra movies, too.
Yeah. Yep, that's him.
Yep.
But, apparently they've already cast people? They're casting people for this movie, and it's not going to come out for at least 10 years. Yeah,
that's weird. What if everybody dies?
Yeah, I don't... that's really weird. This whole thing seems strange, because I also feel like this is a fever dream where someone said, oh yeah, James Cameron's making a Battle Angel Alita movie, in the early 2000s, and it never happened,
Yeah.
It seems like one of those things.
Well, he really likes anime.
Does he?
Yeah, he does.
I don't know anything about him. I think the two more things on movies, actually, and that's a lot of the news. The director of Netflix's Death Note film has talked about some of the stuff they're doing.
Oh, tell me about it.
So Adam Wingard, noted horror film director.
I wouldn't say noted, but definitely a horror film director.
Has decided to discuss that this is he's committed to preserving the, quote, adult themes in the film, noting that the film has nudity, swearing, and a ton of violence.
Okay.
And I don't think either three of those things are very prominent.
There is no nudity in Death Note at all.
Sure.
Or no explicit nudity, at least. Mm-hmm. There's very little violence. And yeah, I think someone might say, like, fuck once.
So this seems weird.
Yeah.
And I guess I guess with Netflix, you don't have a rating system, so you can just kind of do whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean,
there's a lot of blood in Death Note, I guess.
Oh, I'm sure, but I don't think it's directly attributed to, like, real violence.
No, it's like sometimes, like there's one death in particular where, a death caused by the Death Note where someone has to write out a message in their own blood. That's kind of like violence.
I guess. And then he ended the interview saying, like, I think we ended up with a really kind of nasty and crazy film. And it just seems like this is going to be a weird shock horror version of Death Note.
You know what I think they're going to do?
What?
They're going to make the Death Note an allegory on drone strikes.
Oh, no. I liked it better when, before the show, you were like, what if they just made the Death Note a gun?
Yeah, that would be a lot better. But they already did that in Sword Art Online.
Oh, did they?
There's just a gun.
Oh, right, they had that gun art.
They had a gun that can just kill people through the internet. That's not how it ended up working, unfortunately, but...
Oh, right, that was that thing where it's like, there is also an assassin in the person's room to kill them when the gun goes off?
That is the plot twist, yes.
So stupid.
It is.
Oh, and the last bit of movie news is that Aniplex USA has licensed a film to actually go to simulcasting.
Okay.
Instead of just hiding it behind their outrageous Blu-ray prices.
Their Blu-rays cost a lot.
So this is it is a movie called I've Always Liked You, which is based on a series of songs by a band that predominantly uses Vocaloids for their vocals.
Uh-huh.
And it seems like a very kind of like standard sort of romance story that just happens to be based around characters from, a song cycle. Which might be worth looking into just, one day I'm gonna find something that's based on a thing from Vocaloid that's good. I'm sure. There has to be one, right?
Makaku City Actors is okay.
There's gotta be one that's really good, right?
No.
But I think the accessibility of this makes it so we could even check it out.
Yeah.
Because I think that's an issue with just, like, anime movies in general, is a lot of them don't make it to sort of these outlets.
Yeah, that is true.
And it's nice that Crunchyroll is going to be picking up this thing.
And isn't that weird?
To show off.
Because movies are, like, the far more consumable format. Like, they're shorter than series. You could probably put them on Blu-ray for less outrageous prices, also because they're shorter.
Right.
It's weird.
Yeah, I don't know, but, movies have always been the, like, sole property of, like, Blu-ray and DVD releases. They don't tend to see their way onto, streaming services, so it's nice to see this one.
Yeah.
Alright, now just some other miscellaneous stuff going on.
Okay.
Aniplex Not USA has launched this sort of, like, writing and production group, focusing on, like, new ways to, like, come out with anime scripts and hoping to find, like, new talent in sort of this workshop that they're building.
Okay. Are they laying down ground rules to not let people write stories about being caught in a game?
I wish, but it's being headed by the director of the Sword Art Online series, which means it's also the director of the Dude from Erased, but still. So he's heading the group focusing on writing scripts and scenarios for anime as sort of like trying to find new approaches and find new ways to change, kind of switch up the format. And there's no requirements or restrictions to who joins, so who knows? This could be a catastrophic failure, you know? This could lead to nothing, but, it's neat that they're trying out things.
These kind of things, unfortunately, often do, like the ones that have no bottom for entry, tend to go down in flames. But, it's always a valiant effort.
Yeah. Oh, we talked about Shonen Jump series that are ending before on this show.
Yeah.
And Kochikame has now been added to that.
Oh, right.
After 40 years... Kochikame is ending.
Rest in peace. You were good the whole way.
but not before earning a Guinness World Record for the most volumes published for a single manga series. At a hot 200.
What about, is the Case Closed manga over?
No, but I don't think it's been running as long.
Oh, yeah, I guess not. I guess that's right.
Like this, we're talking 40 years for Kochikame. I think
Case Closed started in the 70s, 80s as well, right?
No, it was the 90s.
Oh, okay, well, never mind.
Yeah, I think it started like 94 or something.
Okay.
So it's got some time, but it apparently has the lasting power to make it this long.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, wow, that's a lot of time to be spending on a single series.
It is.
And then I think it's also getting like an OVA to kind of go along with this. Like,
that's
either
nice.
This season or next. Like something to put it back on TV. I don't know if it had an anime adaptation, but it's something. It must have.
It probably has had a couple. I think
it must have.
I'm pretty sure it had at least one, and probably more.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Bleach ended and it was bad.
Oh, right. I think we talked about it, and we never talked about the ending. Yeah. We talked about it was ending.
Apparently, it's over now. It concludes in a complete nonsense manner, and the villain doesn't even die.
What?
Yeah.
At least Naruto killed the villain.
Does he? He doesn't kill Sasuke.
Oh, wait, I was counting the other villain.
Yeah. Spoilers, by the way, I'm sorry.
Spoilers, Sasuke's so sorry.
Yeah, he does.
And then he leaves.
I wish he'd left earlier.
God, I mean, he did for a long time.
Yeah, but I wish he would, left the series.
Like the series. Let's see. A couple last cleanup things. Production IG is releasing their Ghost in the Shell VR experience in English and worldwide.
Okay.
Which, I mean...
You can play as Scarlett Johansson.
That's it. No, this is the good one. But it's apparently supposed to be like a short sort of story, I guess, that you just get to experience in VR.
Okay.
With Ghost in the Shell, which seems neat. I mean, it requires you to have VR, but it's coming to, I think, iOS, Android, and PlayStation VR.
Okay.
So you could probably do it with like a cardboard or something a little more accessible.
Yeah.
But that could be a neat thing just to see, kind of, you know.
Yeah, that could be cute.
Yeah, who knows? But, I mean, that author also kind of inconsistent, it seems. Like the author of Ghost in the Shell.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Just as a whole. So who knows? I mean, I hear like Ghost in the Shell is the good thing. So maybe more of it will just be, you know, perfectly good.
I mean, not all of Ghost in the Shell is good.
Everyone loves Standalone Complex.
Yeah, but that's not based on any of his actual stuff, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, is it not?
I'm pretty sure that's a Production IG original.
Oh, that's
And if
weird.
it's not, then they changed a lot because it doesn't resemble the writing style of the original author in that it's good.
Oh, okay. Well, alright then. And then, something I just wanted to go over real quick, since this is our anticipation fall 2016 show. Go over the, main Japanese poll of what they're looking forward to.
Oh, okay.
At least, top 10s.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Do you think we should do this at the end, maybe?
Yeah, let's do it at the end. But, let's introduce it now.
Okay, yeah.
So we're gonna be comparing our picks with theirs.
Hell yeah.
They have a top 20 of combined, and then a top 10 of both men and women separated.
Wow, that's almost 2% of all the anime coming out this season.
Yeah! Oh, there's a lot, so let's get to it.
Let's get to it.
Alright, so, first up our list of animes, we have our A-list. This is the stuff we're really excited for, and we're pretty sure is going to be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you start off.
Okay. I mean, maybe that's not good for this first show because you're way more familiar with this than I am. But it's the 5th season of Natsume Yuujinshou, or Natsume's Book of Friends.
Yes, this is Natsume Yuujinshou Go, which is, 5th season. It's been a pretty inconsistent show in that it's kind of had seasons every on and off. I think the first one came out 2008 and the last one was 2012.
Mm-hmm.
And in between there have been 2 others. But so Natsume Yuujinshou is about a dude who can see yokai, and that sort of haunted him his whole life because it causes him to panic and freak out and make him look crazy, and sort of made him an isolationist.
Yeah.
And it's sort of about his life as he grows older and sort of comes to term with this thing that he can't control and try to balance a life around it as well. And it's pretty neat. I like it a lot. Like, I binged the whole series within the last year.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just it is fantastic in the way it takes, like, these sort of, like, slow country moments and mixes it with sort of the fantastical.
Yeah.
It's a really, really neat series.
Yeah, it sounds really good. I'm surprised that it's never been on my radar before.
It's definitely, like, a low-key series. I feel like it's one of those ones that kind of... The people who liked it really liked it a lot, but it never caught on in a way. Because, like, Mushishi, I feel like, is the one that people always talk about with a similar premise.
Okay.
A sort of people interacting with the supernatural in sort of this casual setting.
I've never heard of that either.
You've never heard of Mushishi?
No.
Huh. Okay. Well, anyways. So, Natsume Season 5 seems really cool because it's just more of it. And you said you haven't seen any of it?
I have never seen even an episode of this, no.
So, this is going to be interesting because I feel like what Natsume does really well is that it builds up the cast from seasons 1 on as, like, and kind of just builds these relationships on. And you coming in, later into the game, I'm wondering if, because you don't know about it, if it's going to feel, like, natural and you understand a lot of what's going on, or...
Yeah.
But if nothing else, I think it looks really nice, despite being sort of, like, it doesn't animate a lot.
No.
But what it does really well.
Okay.
And so it used to be done by Brainspace.
Right.
And now it's on to Brainbase's, like, side studio, Shuka.
Mm-hmm.
Who then also handled the new Durarara as the other thing that they, like, took from Brainspace, as it were.
Right.
So it'll be interesting to see how that handles, too, because, like, I hear the Durarara thing looks good, and...
Durarara looks very good, yeah.
And 91 Days is a little inconsistent, but definitely has a distinct style and tone to it.
Mm-hmm.
So seeing how it handles this, I assume it's going to be more or less the same, but,
It is the same director still, Takahiro Omori.
Yeah, so same director, so I assume nothing too much is going to change.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am really excited for Natsume Yujin Show.
Me too. I hope I'm gonna like it.
Yeah.
Maybe then I'll watch the rest too.
For sure. And so then next up
we have All Out, but produced by Studio Madhouse and directed by Kenichi Shimizu, who also directed the Parasite anime.
Which was also at Madhouse, right?
Yes, I think so.
Pretty sure.
All Out is a show about a rarely tapped sport, at least within anime, and that's rugby. It doesn't really have a hook premise. Like, it's pretty basic. There's some kids, they're coming together in high school and they're going to play rugby together.
Mm-hmm.
And I've read some of the manga, and I think I was already interested from the start, because any Madhouse show that looks even remotely interesting, I'll probably at least give a shot.
And it looks interesting, alright. The butts.
It has a lot of good butts. But I went to read a little bit of the manga, and I think what's interesting about it is that characters are emotionally very aggressive, which I think is very rare in, like, underdog sports manga, because usually the main characters are, like, they are, the meek underdogs a little bit, and this is very different from that.
And these are the loud, angry underdogs.
They're not angry, but there's, like, it's a little bit testosterone fueled, which, it fits with rugby.
Right, it is a extremely masculine sport.
Yeah, if I had to compare it to any other sports show, then I'd compare it to either Slam Dunk or that one baseball manga where it's just like a group of outlaws that play
Rookies.
Yes, rookies, not outlaws. I meant
the delinquents.
Delinquents, right? That's a good manga.
Man, Rookies is so good.
Rookies is so good. And I hope All Out's going to be good too.
So I assume it's not going to be in the same sort of aggressiveness, but I assume it's a very aggressive sort of style with these characters.
It's very emotionally outgoing, I guess. Okay. Yeah.
Very loud and honest.
Yeah, very
and
boisterous,
sincere.
I guess, is a good word for it.
Because I'm assuming it's not going to be like Rookies where they're just like beating the shit out of each other to pump each other up.
No, it's nothing like that.
Man, Rookies is good though. Why didn't that ever get an anime?
Oh man, I wish. But I guess one thing to say about it is that it looks like it's maybe not going to look so good. Like, even Prince of Stride, which we already knew was going to be like a Madhouse B show, I guess. Just the first episode made it look very promising. Like the sprinting section at the end. And this, like, even the PVs don't look that hot. So I guess don't get your hopes up too much.
At least for visual quality.
Yeah, like the key art, man, the butts look so good. You just want to go out and grab them. But in the shows, they're just all right butts.
I mean, I think it'll depend on the shot and stuff.
Yeah.
The only unfortunate thing, I think, was like the 3D rugby ball. For me.
Yeah, that's just the way it goes, I think, because even Haikyuu has 3D balls.
Yeah. It's just, it was very apparent, I guess.
Yeah. I just hope they're gonna go all out on this one.
Oh, for sure. Sports. We got them. We just said it. Haikyuu. Season 3 is coming out. Production IG's back at it. The director's back. And it's Haikyuu. It is a shortened season.
Uh-huh.
Normally the last two have been like 26 episodes, sort of tour de forces of the story. And we've caught up, I think, pretty well to where the manga is.
With the end of this, we will, yeah.
Yeah, so I was kind of surprised that they brought it back this soon at all.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess there might be sort of like a hype train going on with it. There might be like renewed interest that kind of demanded a new one.
I think this might just be like within my own little like bubble of people, but way more people like caught the Haikyuu fever with season 2 than they ever did with season 1.
So it might be that this is just a ride on that.
Yeah, they're still riding that wave. That could very well be.
And so it is. It is based on a very, very long game in the manga.
Yeah, like they could have made a full 13-episode season out of this story.
And I'm kind of glad they didn't.
Yeah, because it's just one match. I don't know if we already established that.
Yeah, so the season is going to be 10 episodes and a single match.
Yes.
Which, to be fair, is against, I think, maybe the highest profile team they've hyped up in this series.
That's been introduced so far, yeah.
Yeah, that's been introduced so far and has, like, had any, like, has any kind of place in the plot so far, is that they are just, like, the team to be.
Yeah, they're the team. They have what you could call the series antagonist in it, who was like this guy who went to nationals at one point. They're a big deal, and they're big.
Yeah, they're a big deal, and it's sort of like these underdogs going up against them. It's very shonen, shonen.
Yeah, it's classic.
But I think Haikyuu handles that pretty well.
Yeah.
And they've always paced the games kind of slow. So I don't think it's going to be too different with 10, but I feel like 13 would have been kind of a breaking point for that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm still excited. Haikyuu always looks really nice, and it seems like Production IG is always ahead of schedule with that kind of stuff.
They're always up on it. Although this time, I don't know. It's like Haikyuu was 2 seasons ago, right? Season 2?
Yeah. There's been a 2-season break.
A 2-season break.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought it was just 1 season.
No, because it was the last 13 episodes were in winter.
Okay, then yeah, that's 2 seasons. All right. So yeah, I hope they had enough time to make this look as good as the last 2 seasons.
Yeah, hope so. Those Volley Boys, they're pretty cool.
They're good. I picked up the first volume of the manga, and that's good too. They cleaned up a lot of the art for that one compared to the original serialized release. Or not serialized, published release. So that's good.
Okay, like the stuff in Shonen Jump.
Yes.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Oh, and I guess we should mention, these are, up until now, these are all shows that both of us are going to watch.
Yeah, I think in this section, basically all of them are things we're both watching.
Yes.
Minus one.
Yeah, minus one.
Next up, we have, March Comes In Like a Lion.
Yeah.
And it's done by Shaft, and by a Shaft director. Bakemonogatari, Gourmet Girl Graffiti. Like, it's one of those things where you look at a director and that sort of tells what the show's going to be like, but I feel like this one doesn't, because it's just, this person works at Shaft.
Yeah, Shaft gets a raw deal. Gets raw deals all the time.
So, and, I don't know a lot about this series. You might be better talking about it.
I know a little bit about it, but much like All Out, I don't think I can really give like a hard sell on the premise. It's basically about a guy who moves into a new home with a new foster family, and like he doesn't really have a good hold on anything. Like he's having trouble with his job. He doesn't have a good relationship with all the people around him. Everything's just kind of tough for him, and it's a show about exploring how that goes. And it's very good. The manga is very good.
through shogi, I believe. Like, they play a lot of shogi.
Yeah, shogi is the... Oh, I definitely should have said that. That is the central theme.
And I assume that they'll explore sort of their characters through how they play shogi, which is a little goofy, but I think that's sort of, that's not an unsurprising thing, is like how you play games is how you are yourself sort of thing.
Yeah.
And so I don't know much about it, and it definitely doesn't have sort of the same sheen that a lot of the Shaft shows have recently.
Oh yeah, the PV looked pretty rough.
And I think that plays into the style of the manga more. So I'm not like super down on that, but it's definitely going for a very distinct, different feel. I think it's trying to be kind of, like, I feel like it's not trying to be bombastic, and it's not trying to be more than this very sort of down-to-earth countryside sort of story.
No.
Like, it's definitely not being presented like a Monogatari series, which is which is wild.
Well, yeah.
And even like Gourmet Girl Graffiti has like a lot of sparkle and sheen to it because it's going for that sort of like moe-ish angle.
Uh-huh.
And this is definitely trying for something a little, like a level lower than that.
Yeah, totally.
So it should be neat. I've heard a lot of good things about it.
It is really good.
For sure.
And I like it.
Oh, so you've read the manga.
Yes, I've read parts
of it. Alright, you're
a
manga reader.
That's me.
That's you. Now back to sports.
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
Yuri on Ice. With 3 exclamation marks.
Yeah, Yuri
on Ice. It's being produced by Studio Mappa and directed by Akiyuki Shimbo, director of Machiko and Hatchin, which is a series I really like, as well as the movie Lupin the Third, The Woman Called Fujiko Mine.
Yeah, that's the TV series.
Oh, is that the... Okay, yeah, I thought that was...
The movie is Daisuke Jigen's Gravestone.
Oh, right.
I assume it's the same person.
Yeah. I don't know about that. I don't think he also did the...
It's within the same series,
yeah.
But regardless, Yuri on Ice is about ice skating.
It's about ice skating.
Or figure skating, I believe.
Yes.
Is more proper. Like Olympic level ice skating.
I don't know about Olympic, but... Oh, no, it is. You're right.
Yeah. And so it's about, but it's about a guy who, like, has been out of the scene for a while, as it were.
Yeah, because he lost the big game, the big competition.
Yeah, and so this, Toshiyuki, sort of, he's coming back into it and trying to sort of bet everything on this last skating season.
Yeah.
Because his main problem is just that he can't handle pressure, and he's trying to work against that. And he's given these rival characters in these, I believe they're both Russian, competitors.
Yeah.
Yuri and Victor, who are like, either, like, one of them is an up-and-coming, like, star, and one of them is, like, a national champion, like, living legend. And so it's very sports in how it's handling, like, sort of, oh, he's coming back into this, and suddenly he has, like, huge competition on all fronts.
He's coming back for one last big game.
Yeah, people who are ahead of him and, outclass him, and people who are coming into it new and also are, like, showing a scene of, outclassing him.
Yeah.
It should be neat.
It should be neat.
It looks really good.
It looks really good, as Mappa shows usually do, I think.
Yeah, Mappa has I think a really good style to how it does motion and everything.
Yeah.
Even if Mappa doesn't do, like, a ton, I think what they do is, like, really good.
Yeah.
Like, even at its worst, like, Days looked, it looked good.
Yeah, I think Punchline's probably the only thing they've ever made that didn't look so good.
The visuals are kind of uneven in that one, for sure.
I think the rest of their shows have always been more consistent.
Yeah, and this is this based on a novel?
No, this is original content, so support original anime.
Right, support original anime.
Yeah.
That's what we always say here.
We always say it.
We'll support good original anime.
And we hope that this is going to be that.
Yeah, this does look good.
It's very promising.
I'm excited about it.
But Days also look very promising.
We'll give it a shot anyways.
Yeah, that is, yes. Absolutely.
Yeah, because also, figure skating is one of those things that, while there isn't always as much motion to it, the way that it does expression is really important.
Yeah.
And so I think that's the sort of thing that'll be the make or break on how it's handled. is how it handles, like, expression and how it does, like, the subtle movements that go along with it.
I hope that when a character does a triple axel, they don't just draw him like a tornado or something like that.
Yeah, for sure. Like there was the scene in, what was it? Death Parade that did the figure skating sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And if it was even, like, that quality, I think it would still be really good because it's a good sense of how to handle motion and, you know, especially the very, like, unique motions that go along with figure skating.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing that quite looks like it when it's, like, really top tier sort of stuff.
Absolutely.
Next up,
Funewama, The Great Passage. It's being done by a studio called Zex.
I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm gonna guess Zex.
Zex, yeah. And directed by someone who I don't think matters based on his credentials.
It was like shown in Hollywood
and Say I Love You. I hear that's okay, but...
So it kind of... I mean, that again, that's also just a Zex thing.
Yeah.
But, this is a novel, award-winning novel. I believe also was award-winning live-action series.
It was a movie, I think.
Movie.
I think it probably was a movie because I watched it as one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So if it was a series, that would be weird and short.
Okay. And it is about, a literary publisher?
Yeah. Specifically, it's about a dictionary, like the Titular Funewamu, The Great Passage, which is being created within a company. And one of the accountants at the company, I think, or like just someone from the sales department, gets transferred to the editing department because the creation of dictionaries or the publication of dictionaries within this company like always eats away at their budget, and that needs to be stopped. It's kind of about his adventures becoming an editor, even though he's really bad with people.
Okay.
And it's good.
I know, if nothing else, that the author is a predominantly, like, BL author.
Okay.
And I feel, and that's definitely true of Showa Genroku Rakugo Shinju as well.
Right.
Is these authors who are predominantly in another field getting their, like, non-romantic works put into series.
I mean, I won't spoil if this is a romantic work or not, but...
Okay, but, like, taking those authors' works, and this may open up for the ability for, from what I understand, like, the good side of, like, boys love stories to also get animated adaptations, which could be neat.
Yeah.
It seems like definitely, like, taking these authors and opening up the door for more of their work and other work by similar authors is something that, you know, is commendable.
Boy, maybe if we didn't use a schlock term such as boys love, this wouldn't be a problem.
Maybe.
Wow.
Because it does come off, I guess it does come off as sort of closed of a term.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that kind of like, oh, so it's about this, when it could be about a whole bunch of things.
It could be about
like,
anything.
Yeah. I guess it's limiting is the word I'm looking for.
Yeah. And I think it's also, it sounds a little exploitative. It makes it sound like borderline porn.
Yeah, I think it holds a sort of connotation for that as well.
It does, a lot of it is like that, yeah, but it doesn't have to be.
Right. I might have brought this up with Rakugo Shinju as well. It's sort of like, just the fact that these authors are getting something there means it opens up the door for the rest of their work, which if it's the good portion of that genre, then that's exciting because we just don't get a lot of representation on that side.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah.
Because I'd love to get some good into Super Lovers.
Yeah, man, that's getting a second season.
Oh my god, you're right. That's terrible.
But guess what?
Get what? But guess what's not terrible, I hope.
We're still talking about good anime.
Yeah.
Probably. Classicaloid.
I don't know, this is completely baseless, the idea that this is going to be a good anime. We just hope.
So it's done by Sunrise.
Yeah.
And it's directed by the director behind Gintama and Osamatsu-san.
Right.
So, two, I feel like, very irreverent sorts of comedies.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's weird because I originally felt like Classicaloid was a continuation of Sunrise's, like, Tribe Cool Crew, Brave Beat sort of, like, ridiculous dance sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But instead they're basically building this sort of, like, magical composer anime?
Yeah.
Like, the idea is that a bunch of gigantic robots drop, and then basically magical boy versions of famous composers show up to fight them.
This is what I watch anime for.
Basically.
Premises like these.
Yeah, no, and it just seems really ridiculous. Like, the whole thing is gonna be, like, modern, like, EDM remixes of classical music.
Ugh.
And that's just so, oh man, I love it. I love it so much.
I hope this is going to be good, but it's being written by the person who wrote, or it's being written by a lot of people, but the person who has the lead credit is the writer of Chaika the Coffin Princess, the original novel, not the anime,
Okay.
which, if nothing else, is not funny.
Right, for sure. I guess that is a problem.
Yeah, so I don't know. Like, Chaika the Coffin Princess is a very mediocre product, I think, so I hope Classicaloid rises above mediocrity. Because you were the one who put this in the very interesting category, category, not me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I love goofs. No, but the art style is also very interesting in that it's got, like, this distinct, very bold outlines for everyone.
Yeah. It looks like a Bandai-style color, like, kids show.
And I'm 100% sold on this premise.
Yeah, it's a good premise.
Just conceptually.
Yeah.
I don't know, it seems like it's going to be a lot of fun. And even if, like, the humor of Gintama or Osamatsu, like, doesn't always hit with me, I think the premise itself for this might be enough just to elevate it a little bit more on that, you know?
Yeah.
Like, because that sort of comedy is going to be happening in the middle of a lot of stuff happening instead of the other ones where it's a lot of, like, kind of... Especially in Osamatsu, it's like a slower sort of frantic in the midst of sort of, like, mediocrity.
Mm-hmm.
Where this is just going to be all out.
Right.
This is just going to be nuts. This is going to be bonkers.
I hope it's going to be good.
And so the last one on this list is one that you're only watching, but I'm interested in. And it's www.working.
Yeah. It's the 4th season of Working, sort of, still being made by A1 Pictures and by the same director. And this one's actually a little bit different because it's not based on the manga release of Working. It's actually based on the webcomic which preceded the manga. So it's different characters, it takes place in a different cafe, different cast, same
But
old...
it's effectively the same show.
Same old good jokes that you fell in love with, like how someone might be a pedophile or not. It's all great stuff.
The best jokes.
All the best ones. And I've never read any of it, like the Working manga is a lot less digestible than the anime is. So I'm going into this kind of blind, but man, Working is so good that I hope this is also going to be really good.
And I assume that the cast isn't just going to be, like, heavy repeats, you know?
Yeah, I don't think so.
And it would be weird for that, too, because that would mean that Working is the derivative work, but they're showing www.working afterwards, so it's going to be weird.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, it's...
It's like when you watch Seinfeld for the first time in the 2010s, and it's like, this sucks. This is like every other show out there. Yeah.
When it builds, yeah. But I put this in my maybe I'll pick it up if I drop other stuff list because I feel like it's more accessible to someone like me who doesn't necessarily want to watch the rest of Working to get caught up for a season.
I mean, you don't have to if
straight.
you watch Working because the first episode of every season does a good job of reintroducing a lot of the characters. Like, here's this guy, here's why he sucks. Have a good time.
But still, this seems like an easier way to walk into the series.
Yeah.
Is through
totally.
www. So maybe that'll be cool.
I hope so.
I hear Working's good.
Yeah. I wonder if they're going to recycle the same opening for the 4th time and pretend it's a different song.
Oh, another ska song?
Yeah.
I mean, I'll dig it.
Alright, well...
Speaking of digging
let's coolish walk straight into the next category, which is sort of interesting.
Sort of interested. And boy howdy, did you pick the best show to start this section off with.
Yeah.
Ao Oni, the
animation.
By Studio
Dean, who are also working on a movie for this, right?
Yeah, yes. After this TV series, sometime next year, an animated movie based on Ao Oni will pop up.
Yeah. So,
following in the great trend of the 2 PC games based on RPG Maker and the 2 live-action movies.
Yeah. So, for those not in the know, Ao Oni, like Chorps just said, is It's based on an RPG Maker game made in Japan that is one of the rare ones that made it over to the West. Like, it's basically just that and Corpse Party.
And it's predominantly based on horror.
You could call it horror if you really want.
It's supposed to be horror.
It's supposed to be horror. It's about these kids who go to a haunted house and then they meet the purple McNugget guy from McDonald's.
Aoni.
Yeah, except he's upside down.
Grimace.
Yeah, Grimace, that's the one.
Yep.
And then they chase. It's bad. It's not good, but
he chases you through a house, and you discover that he's a demon.
You discover that he's a demon, which it might surprise you if if you're not Japanese and don't know Japanese,
because Aoni just means blue.
It just means blue demon.
He's purple.
He is purple. So what were they doing? Zero out of 5.
So, anyways, this short series that they're doing at Studio Dean.
Yeah.
Really, it looks like it's going to be a comedy thing. So, what I'm expecting very much is sort of like an impenetrable thing about jokes about Aoni, like as a fandom.
Listen,
thing.
I know a lot about Aoni, so
you'll explain it all.
I'm gonna get
right?
everything they could possibly want out of this show, unless it's Japanese puns, which I won't get.
Okay. But man, Aoni the animation, we're both watching it for some reason.
Yeah,
we're
instead
idiots.
of TQ.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Miller.
I don't know why
guy.
we decided on this.
I don't know, because it looks great. Citation needed.
It does look okay as a style.
Yeah, I dig this style.
It's cute, and I feel like, it's pretty alright. It's not, like, gross. I mean, that blue guy's gross, but that's the point, right?
He is a little gross. I wonder how they made the original graphic for the character, like, in the game, because he looks so weird.
But this is definitely one of the most questionable things we've picked up this season.
Yeah. I mean, maybe for you, I think it's going to be great. If they don't make a joke about how you can loop the Aoni around the chair in one of the first rooms to, like, infinitely stall him, then it'll be a bad show. Like, I hope they go super deep on the in-jokes like that. That would be great.
Well, I can only hope.
Yeah.
That's Aoni.
That's Aoni.
Next up, let's talk about Flip Flappers.
Yep, this is a show only you're gonna watch.
I'm watching Flip Flappers. I think at some point you said you were, and then you were like, this is bad, actually.
I don't remember ever saying that. I said that based purely on the name, and then I saw what it was actually like.
Right, and then you were also like, man, it looks really good. Too bad I would probably hate this.
I don't think I ever said that. That doesn't sound like something I would say.
You said, why are all the worst shows this season looking the best? And you specifically linked to the Flip Flappers PV.
Okay, but I meant visually. Probably.
Right, no, that's what I mean, is you're like, man, why does this look so good, but also it's a shitty series?
Yeah.
Like I don't know, it's definitely a very different sort of art style.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's a weird sort of, like, almost moe.
Do you want to explain what the plot is about? Or is moe enough of a description?
I don't even think I know the plot, because I feel like the plot, the summary, is written, like, in-universe. Basically, these two magical girls are from different times and different dimensions, and as far as I understand, there's a shard that can grant any wish, and it's sort of like these two characters fighting other magical girls for this wish thing. That's as far as I can get from the PV and the plot description.
Okay.
It's possible that these two characters are the same character from different dimensions.
Slow down again,
know.
Robucci. Jesus.
It looks really good.
Okay.
Like, visually.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I think visually it's very striking and dynamic. And the characters, if nothing else, are distinctly drawn. Like, it doesn't exactly look like other anime out there.
Coming at you straight from the good boys at 3 Hertz, who also did Dimension W, which, if nothing else, looked pretty good.
They got weird squishy heads. There's a lot of special effects.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Are we talking about Dimension W or Flip? Okay.
No, Flip Flappers. I don't know. Flip Flappers would be cool. Directed by an animation director on Den-O Coil, which may explain some of why it looks so good, because I hear Den-O Coil animates super well.
It does.
So yeah, I don't know. I'm usually not one for magical girls, but this looks good and sort of different enough for me to be into it, because it's also like weird sci-fi.
Mm-hmm.
I'm willing to give it a shot.
Okay.
And it doesn't look like it's weird, gross pandery.
Well, hey.
Which, that's the thumbs up in my book.
Alright, that's enough to make it a good anime. Not gross. Nope. The chocolate disaster seal of approval.
I mean, that seems to be how it is sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes you just gotta take it like it is.
Speaking of taking it like it is, this is the bad transition for this next show.
Next up, we got Trickster, which is, I'm pretty sure it's a completely original show by Shinai Animation and directed by Kiyotaka Oshiyama, who has a really bad track record. Like, I gotta point this out. His two most notable credits are director on the Hyperdimension Neptunia anime and episode director on Madoka, which are two things I don't like with a fervor.
Okay, so Trickster is a, like, pseudo-cyberpunk reimagining of Edogawa Ranpo's work.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Who is basically what is, like, the Japanese mystery writer akin to Edgar Allan Poe.
Okay. The story is about it's about all these, like, young detectives who are really good at their thing, and then one day they team up with this dude. Like, this kid comes to them who it seems like he cannot die due to the effects of, like, some strange mist thing, and then maybe
he really wants to die.
He really wants to die, but he just can't. And possibly as a result of this, this young detective team starts coming into contact with all these weird villains all of a sudden. Or one weird villain specifically, the Fiend with 20 faces. So I guess that counts as 20 villains, maybe.
And all of this is very reminiscent of all of Edogawa Ranpo's works, because there's the Boys Detective Club, 20's Faces is a popular villain that he has. It is a reimagining of it in the same way that, what was it? Last year they had a similar thing. Ranpo Katan, that's the one.
Okay.
Which follows the similar sort of setup.
Wait, was that Game of the Plus? The one?
Yeah.
Okay. Damn, so is this anime gonna have, like, a girl peeing a lot?
Man, that wasn't in the original, so I hope not.
I certainly hope not, no.
Well, at least not the stories I've read. Let's be fair.
Remember when Edgar Allan Poe wrote "And the Raven Cried" as he peed on the floor?
I do remember that. I watched the PV for this, and it's like, it does seem kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But it's hard to tell exactly what to expect from the PV.
I think. The PV definitely doesn't sell the show in any way other than that it looks pretty good.
Especially not the mystery part. It definitely looks sort of like just like a shonen battle thing.
Yeah, I originally picked it up because lately I've been thinking that I have just a natural reaction towards action anime shows that make me go, ugh, unless there's, like, a sense of prestige behind it. And I want to not do that anymore because, there good action shows do come out. Just because most action shows are like these really low budget crap fests based on light novels, that doesn't mean a good one can't be stuck in between there every once in a while. And then it turned out, oops, this isn't an action show after all.
Yeah, and I think it's original as well.
Oh, well. I mean, that's fine. That doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of really good action shows are original. Like, I can't think of any, but that's okay. That doesn't invalidate my point.
Yeah, for sure. I get it. It might be cool.
Yeah.
I had considered it at some point. It's just I hit my hard limit.
Fully cool.
So yep. Yeah, okay, for sure. Yeah, fully cool, great. Absolutely.
Yeah. Neon Genesis
Not
Evangelion.
sure about 2 and 3, but I don't know. I haven't seen it.
Okay. It's good.
You just wanted to say that so I would admit it on the podcast, didn't you?
Yeah.
You motherfucker. Okay, so next up I'm watching a show.
Okay. I would
It's
hope.
called Long Riders. It's by the people at Studio Actus.
Uh-huh.
Which I don't recognize that name, and I'm sure I should. Like, they clearly had to have done something.
Why? Just because otherwise they wouldn't be able to get their hands on the prestigious IP that is Long Riders?
Exactly. And then, directed by the person behind Monster Musume and the Yatterman,
the newest
remake.
one.
The newest Yatterman, update.
So you know it's gonna be good.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so Long Riders is some moe garbage about a biking club.
Yeah.
Kinda like Bakuwan, but Bakuwan was about motorcycles and looked real gross. And this does not look gross.
Yeah. I mean, Bakuwan didn't look gross either, did it? It wasn't until, the booby washing scene.
I think it always had some booby elements to it,
Okay.
especially in, the art designs. One of the characters had, some of the characters had some weird, skin-tight thing going on.
Okay, I actually didn't know, I hadn't seen anything about it, that's just what I thought.
And these look moe gooey enough that it's not going to be super weird and sexy.
You don't know that.
Especially with the way they draw the eyes. Like, I don't know how anyone's going to be attracted to that. The eyes are ridiculous on these characters.
Boy, is your worldview about to be shattered.
I love it. No, okay, so I think you said you wanted to watch this at some point, and then you watched and you're like, this looks bad, actually.
Yeah, this is too moe for me to watch.
Look, one day I'm gonna find the thing that fills this K-on-shaped hole in my heart. And maybe it'll be Long Riders.
No.
I said maybe.
No.
I still have some hope. I don't know. I definitely have I have questionable taste for sure. Like, I don't care about biking. I care about these, 5 ladies hanging out and having a good time. And if they can accomplish having a good time without being gross or weird, that'll be enough for me.
I've never been able to do it. So I don't know if anyone can.
Maybe. No, I'm willing to give it a shot. Like, Bakuman, something about it, like, immediately turned me off, and nothing's done this about this.
Uh-huh.
Even though it's, like, pretty similar. So I'll give it a shot.
Okay.
And then I'm watching another thing.
Tell me about
it. Oh,
it.
yeah, because I watch one more thing than you do.
Yeah.
I was thinking through this, like, oh wait, yeah, I have one more thing. This is Udon no Kuni no Kiniro Kimari, or Paco's Udon World, which is done by Leiden Films, and directed by the person behind Attack on Titan Junior High, which I feel like tells me nothing.
Yeah.
But, this is another, like, single-parent sort of narrative.
Are they gonna eat really big sandwiches too?
No, they eat, okay. Well, the kid is found in an udon pot, so I mean, I don't think they're gonna be eating, they might be eating noodles. There's a lot of food in the PV. But all, like, more traditional sort of Japanese food. I think they eat natto at some point, which, ew.
Yeah.
Don't eat that. That's gross. But, so it's about a web designer, so already, immediately it hits home.
Hashtag relatable.
His family owns an udon place out in the country, and when he gets there, he opens an udon pot and discovers a young boy inside of it.
I'm sorry, I meant smaller than relatable, larger than.
Okay. And
that's an HTML joke.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
And this boy, I believe, is a tanuki. He definitely has a tail and, like, raccoon ears.
Okay.
And so he quits his job to take care of this child. And it's sort of the story of him, like, raising this child. And I don't know. I really liked Sweetness and Lightning. I think there is something charming to me, specifically about single-parent narratives.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that this is animated and how it looks just looks really endearing to me. And I don't know. I'm excited for it.
I thought this was the same show as Sweetness and Lightning at first, just because the kid looks so similar in both.
Yeah, I think it's less about cooking, though.
Okay. That's surprising considering the title.
Yeah, there's just also food.
Yeah.
I mean, food's cool. I like eating it.
I ate a lot of it today, so much so that right now I don't feel so good about food.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, that happens.
Yeah, I mean, it'll probably be better tomorrow.
And so that's all the shows we're watching.
Yep.
Everything from now on is stuff that we either are considering watching or definitely not. And you'll guess by the way we talk about it.
Yeah, in descending order.
So, the last one in our sort of interested list.
I mean, you could.
TQ8.
I don't know why this is here. This could have just as well gone on the very interesting list, but I think putting a show we're not watching in there would be wrong. Weird. In a way. Yeah.
So TQ8.
TQ8.
You might be surprised.
From the director of the
studio
new Berserk.
And director. Yeah! Fuck. But also all the other TQs.
Oh yeah, I guess
and also
he did that
the studio
too.
who did TQ.
In his off time.
TQ is...
Good. Yeah.
It's irreverent and wacky and a lot of non sequiturs, but it's fun.
You know what's weird about
what?
TQ is that they always, like, in the openings and in all the marketing material, they put, like, a heavy focus on the booby action.
And there isn't really any of it. They don't animate enough for boobies.
Occasionally there's, like, a breast joke in the show itself, but yeah, it's not really there.
That's weird.
Yeah.
It was always weird thinking about it, too, because TQ basically, like, I think this break was taken because they needed more content. Because they go through a lot of TQ in a single episode of TQ.
Yeah. That's
like, I think it's an entire chapter an episode, so, and it's a monthly thing, so.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah, so they have to take breaks.
Mm-hmm.
But also, I can't imagine reading TQ, because I feel like from watching it, there's just a timing to it, and there's like a particular sort of like, once the joke is over, you need to have it over and move on to the next one. There's no time to sit on it.
Yeah, I don't know how
that a manga doesn't allow.
I don't know how a lot of the jokes in TQ would work if you just took your time to read them. That would be weird.
Like, unless it's like a forced animated GIF, like, that just, like, moves the page to page at a certain series of seconds that just decides how long you get to see it, maybe.
You ever seen that one horror webcomic that is, like, it's always advertised as, it's scary, but it's only a comic. How scary can it be? You know that one?
The one where you scroll down and there's the picture of that lady running towards you?
No, it's not a lady running towards you, it's a ghost turning around.
But one of those sorts of things.
Yeah, and imagine if it's just that, and it's like, it's just a comic, how fast can the humor be? And it's just, the jokes just keep going.
Yeah, I don't know, TQ's cool. If I drop anything else, TQ might be picked up. And also every, from 2 to 7, because I haven't watched it all.
Maybe the reason there's another Berserk season coming out. Also, there's another fucking Berserk season coming out.
I didn't want to bring it up, but we're bringing it up. Berserk 2016 is getting a second season, so now it's Berserk 2017.
Maybe they're doing that just to give the director something to do while he's waiting for more TQ content to adapt. Maybe.
Because I feel like he did another adaptation, but basically it's all been TQ for the last few years.
Yeah.
God bless him.
Except for when he's doing Berserk. Then I hate him.
Oh. And now, we're into the maybe, maybe nots.
Yep. We're starting off with a spicy one.
Yep. Sound Euphonium Season 2 by KyoAni.
Yep. They're still around.
I mean, how could they not? They make so much money.
They really do.
I really want Sound Euphonium Season 2 to be good.
I don't.
In the same way that I still wanted Sound Euphonium Season 1 to be good.
Like, I guess, but it has burned just so much goodwill. Like, I genuinely think Season 1 of Sound Euphonium is bad content.
Yeah, like, I recognize that I just didn't like it.
Yeah.
And it's because of the, like, directorial things that changed between the novel and the actual anime.
Yeah.
But I want to like Sound Euphonium because it is literally everything I like put together, and then they did the bad thing that I didn't like.
Yeah, they did.
But, like, I'm super into Concert Band. I'm super into some of these characters. There's a good thing built out of it, and then I just can't get over Reina.
At least it looks like they are gonna kiss this season, so they're not.
So there is a payoff.
There is. It just means it's not going to be a weird, gross, baity show anymore. They're going to actually go whole hog and maybe tell a genuinely romantic story, except they probably won't because Reina sucks and doesn't fit.
I mean, I'm not happy about that because I don't like Reina.
Yeah, Reina's the worst. I've seen so many people espouse the terrible opinion that Reina is better than the boy who is the main character's love interest in the book.
Yeah, they say, what's his name? Shinju?
I don't know.
But they say, he's so boring. And it's like, Reina is kind of equally boring.
Reina is the worst. Here's a list of things that are better than Reina. Poop. Eating glass. Watching Hellsing Ultimate. And the list goes on, but there's some notable competitors for my affection.
Understand that these are our opinions. If you like Reina, all the better to you. You get to enjoy Sound Euphonium.
Yeah, and I hope you have a good time. I hope it'll look good. And probably
it's gonna look great. It's KyoAni.
Yeah.
If nothing else, KyoAni makes a good looking thing. But yeah,
what a high bar to set.
I wanted to like Sound Euphonium, but I can't stand Reina, and I think the other two characters that have now been pushed to the back seat are more interesting, and there's more interesting stuff going on with them.
Yeah. Why couldn't she kiss the girl who likes the tuba toy?
Why couldn't she just be a Tuba-kun?
Yeah. Why didn't they kiss? Why didn't she kiss Tuba-kun?
Yeah, right? Next up. Tiger Mask W.
Tiger Mask is making a comeback.
Yep, this is a comeback for Tiger Mask by Toei Animation. It's a pretty old, like, lucha libre wrestling sort of series, right?
Yeah, it is.
And it's being directed by the person behind the Ultimate Muscle thing, so I mean, it's someone who knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
Oh, and also a Pretty Cure season, so I mean, that's happening. But,
Oh.
but yeah, Tiger Mask, I don't know anything about.
Me neither.
Besides the fact that it is sort of a, it's a revival sort of thing going on.
Yeah.
Which, that could be cool. I don't know. I mean, wrestling in sort of that form isn't something that shows up in an anime a lot. Like, you don't get a lot of wrestling, either Japanese, American, otherwise.
No.
From anime. Like, the most recent thing I can think of is I Want to Be the Strongest in the World, and that's not really wrestling.
It's strange because wrestling is actually very popular in Japan.
Yeah, they have, like, their whole wrestling federation sort of thing going on, don't they?
NJPW is, like, one of the more, like, well-known, pro wrestling federations in the world, so, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It might be neat to check out if someone picks it up.
I like pro wrestling a lot, but I don't know. The qualities that I like it for are ones that are inherent to anime as well, so I don't think making a pro wrestling anime is necessarily, or watching one is necessarily an idea.
Well, it definitely seems from the way they're doing it, it's definitely more lucha libre.
Yeah, well, it's the same basic idea. It's
all
characters
and stuff.
Yeah, so I don't know. If it's cool, and there's a lot of shows that I drop, I might watch it.
Yeah. It's definitely not on the top of my I'm to pick it up next sort of list, but,
yeah,
maybe worth it. Next up is Lost Storage and Cited Wick Sauce.
Why is this here?
Actually, I put it here originally, and then I needed to move it down.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll talk about it here.
Okay.
So, I was kind of interested in this because Wick Sauce is one of those things that, people within my circle of influence have said good things about.
Okay.
And at the time, I was like, oh, well, there's quite a bit of Wick Sauce I'd need to watch to get to the point where Lost Storage, I think, would make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Since it's not a continuation of that same story, but I assume it is a continuation of the themes. And I ended up watching, about half of the first season of Wick Sauce and realizing it's not for me.
Okay.
I put it on because I'm a sucker for card games. And this is like real serious people card games where it's like legit life on the line, sort of a darker kind of.
I mean, that's true for Yu-Gi-Oh! As well. That one dude was gonna get his damn legs cut off.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Always has sort of a goofier tone to it, I feel.
I mean, I guess.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Has always been sort of sillier about the drastic measures that people take.
Okay.
This manifests itself in sort of a pseudo-magical girl kind of thing going to it. I think when someone ended up describing it to me, it's like, when people talk about things that are sort of cribbing off of Madoka's success,
mm-hmm.
Wick Sauce is one of those things.
And
from what I watched of it, it definitely feels that way. I could not get into it.
Yeah, you're making a very weak case for this right now,
that's
in my
why
opinion.
that's why I wanted to drop it down at this point.
Okay.
I watched Wick Sauce, and I see why people like it, but it's basically creating an entire cast of characters where I don't want anyone to win because of the way that it creates these characters.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's a lot about sort of like hidden desires and sort of the darkness in people's hearts kind of thing.
Okay.
That just went to in a direction I didn't like.
Right. But
this is a new series, and if you enjoyed the themes of the previous Wick Sauce or things like Madoka, JC Staff has got you covered. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, directed by the Flying Witch director too, which was JC Staff as well, right?
I guess one thing about Wick Sauce, I guess I can say, is that it handles a lot of stuff about relationships in general, like romantic, familial, friendly sort of stuff like that, and handles it in a way that not a lot of anime do, is that it says important things about, like, particularly like incestual relations where this is a bad thing, and it's, it is shown in a very negative light that this person keeps fighting for this sort of thing.
Okay.
So that's appreciated, is that it takes its tones and knows how to handle, like, this is bad.
Right. Which
is good, even if it does handle it at all. But yeah, Wick Sauce isn't for me. Sorry.
Okay.
Girlish number.
This was your pick as well, right? I don't think I put this on here.
Oh, did I put it on here? Girlish number is a story kind of like Sorry Gaseiyu.
Yeah.
It's basically Sorry Gaseiyu, but a little more moe.
It's very much that. I mean, hey, Sorry Gaseiyu was already, like, really a lot like that, but it was still good.
It's a little more polished into, I think, a more traditional anime direction.
Yeah, I guess.
And Girlish Number, I feel like, is going to be less, oh, we also got a bunch of industry people in here.
Okay, yeah.
But I don't know. It might be neat. People like Story Gaseiyu.
Yeah, I do.
I think you put this one on next.
Maybe. No.
Bernard Joe.
No.
Miss Bernard says, I didn't put it on here.
Oh, well. Then maybe I did.
Well, tell me about it.
No, I'm pretty sure I did not put it on here because I hate this premise.
I didn't put it on here.
Oh.
Anyways, it's a gag manga about how this group of people who hang out in the library love literature.
Except they haven't read any of it. Except, well, the main character hasn't.
Yeah.
And that hijinks ensue.
Yep. So that's that. Anyways, I mean, it's about books. People love books.
I love books, but I love reading them. I like the main character, and if I can't relate to the main character, then put the kibosh on it.
And it seems like it's basically just like, oh, here's all like big famous books.
Yeah.
So it is an anime fan's first foray into literature.
Y'all read Catcher in the Rye? And then the girl is like, I just love the way he catches all that rye. I know for sure I put this next one on here.
Monster Hunter Stories Right On.
Yeah.
By David Pro.
So they're doing this and JoJo next season.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is just, it's, if you know anything about, like, the Monster Hunter games, this is nothing like that. This is based on the new, like, colorful, cutesy JRPG spinoff.
Right, which is much more story-focused.
Yeah.
And for children.
Yeah. And I don't know, I thought it looked cute. I haven't really looked into what the story is like, but every once in a while I can go for some, like, light fantasy adventure stuff.
Yeah, it looks cute, and these kids are riding dragons.
Yeah, and it's directed
They're probably hunting monsters.
It's directed by someone who's done a lot of, like, Bandai merchandise anime, which this basically is, so.
More or less.
Yeah.
It's been huge, though, like, leading up to this. Like, Monster Hunter Stories is getting some huge publicity.
I mean, Monster Hunter is huge in Japan.
Huge, yeah, so.
It's,
that makes
like,
sense.
basically all Capcom makes anymore, because it rakes in the big books.
It's one of the few things I can think of recently where it's like a kid show with, like, celebrity guests doing voices for it.
There is a game, like, a game for it is coming out on 3DS, and it's getting exclusive amiibo, which is, like, really rare for a non-Nintendo product. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a big thing. And, you know, Monster Hunter Stories, it looks cute. I like the character designs.
Yeah, me too. I like the way the dragons look a lot.
So I'll wait till see how it goes. I hope David Pro can handle it.
Yeah, me too.
Having two shows.
I hope they can find a good OP for this one. Maybe they have to funnel all the good OPs to this show, and that's why Diamond is Unbreakable has been getting all the bad ones.
Damn. Well, maybe they'll get a good one next time.
I hope so.
Maybe they'll license out some.
I think it's already
out.
Like it's already known what it is, but I haven't checked it out yet.
They got like an artist on there and also a professional jazz singer, and that's all they've announced about it, which could be cool.
That immediately catches my eye the same way Jeff Goldblum being in the new Thor catches my eye. Like, you know.
What?
Yeah, did you not know about that? It's gonna be great.
I didn't know about that.
Oh, it's gonna be great. I'm gonna watch it.
Oh.
I like this next show, which I'm not gonna watch, but you might.
Nazuto Kine, there's just nothing about it. So, based on the tiny ass premise of it's got puzzles in it, like, like Leighton, I'm like, sure. I don't know, there's this young girl and she's got a friend who's a rabbit in a hat, and they solve puzzles like Leighton. And you know what? If I ever hear anything about it or see a PV about it, maybe I'll check it out. But none of that exists.
You know what I just noticed?
What?
The main character has the breast support ribbon from Dungeon PUA Adventures.
I mean, I think that's because she's dressed like she's supposed to be in Magic. I don't think that's actually a ribbon that connects from her chest to her arms.
Okay, well, it's the same weird idea.
Yeah, it's a little weird. But yeah, like the only PV they have is just like, here's character designs and that's it. So I don't know. It's an original thing. I might check it out.
Alright.
I don't even know if anyone pick it up. It's by a studio I don't recognize named Tengo Kobo.
I've never heard of that either.
Yep, so who knows. This next one I think is you.
Okay, this next one is definitely me. This is Cheating Craft. It's being produced by Studio Blade. And this is part of that same initiative by me to start watching more action shows, but I had to, I dropped it because, speaking of initiatives, we decided to put down a max number of shows we're gonna watch every season, because last season it got too much.
You're sitting on a hot 10 and I'm sitting on a hot 11.
That's right. So this one unfortunately got cut out, because it seems a little too gimmicky for me, because basically it's a...
Tell me about it.
If you remember Mikagura's School Suite,
yep.
It has a similar element to it. The connection's very vague, but it's about children fighting for positions within a school, and it seems like they largely do that using school supplies. Like, there's one guy who fights with rulers, there's another guy who fights with...
Okay, that kind of sounds like it's cool.
Yeah, but you know what I mean when I say it's too gimmicky? Like, it feels like it's intentionally going for a gag, and that doesn't really... I don't really like that sort of thing.
Okay, that's fair.
And then it's cheating. It's called Cheating Craft because, they're working with arts and craft supplies, and it's about characters who can only, like, get to these higher positions within the school by cheating. And, like, at first I was like, maybe I'll watch this, and then I thought, I don't know, this seems a little too gag-y for me. Like, too much of a gag premise. But it still looks pretty good.
This director's works list is not giving me inspiration, though.
Well, it is for me because it's Motonoga Keitaru, who has directed, among other things, Get Backers, German Gand, and School Days, which are all things that I almost like.
Oh, okay.
So it makes sense that this is here.
I knew you didn't like some of these things. But...
So it makes sense that this is here because I am almost interested in this show.
All right.
Yeah.
Sure. Speaking of almost interested. Gaku and Handsome the animation.
Mm-hmm.
So I put this on because I think initially it was like, Gaku and Handsome, that's the funny boys love parody thing where a guy stabs someone with their chin. And that's still what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I think at some point I was really excited about it. And just more, it's like, there's maybe a level of parody to it that, at my ripe, tender age of X amount of years old, I maybe that's kind of died off on me a little.
Yeah.
But if someone picks it up, I'll still, like, give it a cursory glance to see if any of the humor holes, because I haven't been able to see much of it, because the game never came to English, and neither did that OVA they did.
No.
Which maybe they never did. That may have never come out. Regardless, it's something that still, like, was relevant to me at some point in my super hyper Irano days. So maybe. But maybe not.
Maybe. I do know that at a time you were very excited about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Things change.
I don't know. Yeah.
That's the way it is.
Life happens sometimes.
So next up we have Sengoku Wildlife Caricatures, which is like this weird short... There's basically no information out there in English for this, but it looks like it's going to be some kind of weird short series that's drawn in like the old Japanese ink painting style on scrolls. Mm-hmm. And it's about animals wearing silly hats and doing goofy things, and
just like the Japanese myth.
Yeah. And that sounds like it could be fun, but like I said, just because there's no info out on it, I can't really make a call on this one.
Yeah, who knows if it's even going to come out.
Yeah, exactly. Probably not.
So I put this on here.
Yes.
Babuki Baranki Season 2. And Babuki Baranki is by that other 3D CG studio, Sanzigen. And I hear tell that Babuki Baranki is actually pretty good once you get past sort of the less than kind 3D CG.
Yeah.
And I've considered at points, because I do like the character designs still of some of these kids, and like weapon designs and everything, of checking it out. So maybe if things don't go well with the other shows I'm watching, this will be something I pick up on with it.
All right.
It's about kids with like super weapons. I don't know. They fight God. It's very Japanese.
That's almost the premise.
I bet there's more to it.
Yeah, maybe.
Next up.
This was you also put this on here. It's the new Digimon.
Was it just me?
I think.
Was it just me? Digimon Universe Apply Monsters. Apply Monsters? It's applications.
Okay.
Digimon is back.
It wasn't that long ago.
But in your smartphones.
Oh.
Kids these days.
God, man, what are they gonna do next? Watches? Are they gonna wear those? Weird.
But Toei's handling a new
No, wait,
Digimon.
that was already... They had watched it in the first one. I'm sorry, they can't do that
Yep.
again. What's the thing they're doing now? They're making pens, like the Apple Pen.
iPhone
Is that
7.
where the Digimons are going to come out?
They're specifically on iPhone 7s.
Okay, exclusive.
They're like, oh no, I can't headphone jack into the database.
Oh my god.
Oh no, I need 3 extenders.
They're going to try to go into the Digimon world on their iPhones, like 5 or whatever, and they can't because the app won't update anymore.
And also there's a law against millennials.
And also they're playing Pokemon Go.
And also they're taking selfies.
God.
Anyways.
And they're listening to 21 Pilots.
This is a new Digimon. I don't know. I feel like one day I should experience any Digimon. That's one of those things that I never got into because, like, I'm watching Pokemon. Why would I watch Digimon?
It's pretty good sometimes.
Yeah, I don't know. The main character looks disgustingly like the character from Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5.
Right? They look exactly the same.
Like, the only thing different is he doesn't have two-tone hair.
Yeah, but he might as well because his shirt is the red that the kid from Arc 5 also has.
So I don't know. It might be neat to check out a new Digimon. I hear people like it. I've never tried it. I don't know. Maybe this is the time to do it. Because, I mean, it's also an issue of, like, this is so divorced from what I understand to be, like, the main Digimon, like, loop or, like, timeline where all the characters are related. And I can just enjoy this because it's the future.
Yeah, I haven't kept up with Digimon for so long that it just always looks weird to me. You know?
They're running out of ideas.
Yeah, I mean...
Can you believe it? This Digimon's just 6 eggs. Ugh. Show by Rock. Season 2. I realized, watching the shorts, that I don't actually like Show by Rock that much.
Okay.
The first season was like flash in the pan, and looking back, I was like, yeah, it was okay. I'll wait for someone else to tell me if this is any good for me to watch any more of it.
Alright. This next one, I think I put this on here.
Yeah, you did this.
Magic Kyun Renaissance,
Explain yourself.
which is just some kind of like idol, not idol, but like that weird performance group subsection of idol anime. I put this on there just because the Nozaki-kun director is directing this.
Okay.
And I mean, Nozaki-kun is so good, so maybe he'll make something good out of this.
This one specifically is like all of the boys are good at a particular type of art, and it manifests in magic.
Yeah.
It's like that saying, any high form of art is indistinguishable from magic. That's what they say.
Were you the one that said that?
No.
Okay.
Wait, maybe. Maybe it was just me.
Well, you know what Michael Scott said? You miss 100% of the shots you don't take, Wayne Gretzky.
Right. Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
So next up is young Kitaro and his Yokai Picture Diary. I love Yokai.
They're pretty cool, except for when it's the game with the watch in it.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's okay. That's just okay.
Yeah, it's alright, but...
This is done by popular shorts studio creators in Pack.
Yep.
Also known for the things that the director did, like Oz Mafia, Noji-san to Marshmallow, and that Trigger thing.
What?
Which Trigger short? The most recent one. The one where they're in their phones.
Oh. I don't know.
You know which one I'm talking about.
I know which one you're talking about, but I don't know what it was called,
can't think
even
of the
though
name
I
of it.
watched it.
Regardless, Creators in Pack is doing this thing, and it seems like it's a comedy short yokai series. I don't know, like Natsume has really opened up my comfortability with like things about Japanese mythology more.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe I'll check this out.
Okay.
I think I'd more quickly go back to something like Mushishi, but if, I'm looking for something from this season, this looks alright.
You might yokai watch this.
Yes.
Okay.
Then, there's Occultic 9.
Is this
By A1.
Is this the Steins Gate spinoff?
Yes.
Okay.
You can tell because of the semicolon.
Right, but I know something else does that as well.
Well, there's Chaos Head, which is Steins Gate. There's Chaos Child, which is Steins Gate.
Is Chaos his child Steins Gate?
Yes.
That's weird because it looks so bad.
There's Steins Gate, which is Steins Gate.
I figured.
And I think there's now Occultic 9, which is Steins Gate.
Okay.
There might be some others. Occultic 9, I don't know, I like the style it's going for, and I think overall that sort of world is neat. Like, just taking sort of the, like, high sci-fi sort of thing that they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
But there's one particular thing about Cultic 9 that's really, like, turning me off of the whole thing, and that's that the main female character is so booby-heavy.
Oh.
Like, all the shots of her in the PV are of her jiggling and jaggling all around.
That seems like something Steins Gate would do.
Yeah, and I feel like Steins Gate was a little more minimal on that. In particular, just that particular one of it.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's why it, hit better. But, like, Occultic 9 looks nice besides that, but that.
Okay, yeah.
It just, every shot she's in is distracting because of it.
Okay.
Like, especially in this PV. But maybe.
Alright.
It's a far maybe, but it's a maybe.
Next up we got Magic Stella, which is about a girl joining a game development doujin group within high school. Which is a pretty basic premise, but I put this on here once again. Are we still doing the maybes? Yes, we are.
Yeah.
I put this on here purely based on the credentials of the director, who also directed Tanaka-kun and Non-Non Biori and Non-Non Biori Repeat and Kokoro Connect, which are all very good.
Yeah, because that's Silverlink.
Yeah. That's Silverlink's good output.
Magic of Stella is... It looks this is the point where it looks a little too moe for me.
Okay.
Because the heads get wider, and the bodies get shorter, and they almost become like weird chibis.
Oh, this looks too moe for you, but Long Riders doesn't.
Yeah. Yes, actually.
Okay. But in Long Riders, the eyes are way bigger.
Yeah. I think that's a stylistic thing.
But
this is also a stylistic thing. I don't know. There's something about Magic of Stella that rubs me the wrong way in its art style.
Okay.
But yeah, it's basically like New Game, which was this season. But it's a little more independent. It's a little less like AAA sort of thing.
Yeah.
Which, who knows? I don't know if that is really going to change how it is handled.
I mean, it's still a gag show. Like, the New Game wasn't exactly accurate to the real world.
It isn't, but I think it tries more, or at least makes gags around the game development part.
Yeah.
They spend very little time in this PV developing game.
Sure.
Which is maybe the difference. The pixel stuff they have looks pretty good, though. Yeah. I think it's a style thing.
So yeah, I might watch this if I drop a bunch of other stuff.
Maybe it's the sort of thing where it's like, they're trying to tell me these kids are in high school, but they also look like they're grade schoolers, because of how chubby they all are.
Okay.
I don't know. There's something about that art style. Let's fight. Let's fight with swords, like Token Ranbu.
About historical revisionism.
Right.
I was way interested in this until I found out that it's basically it just what Girls in Panzer, but
no, not Girls in Panzer.
The other one where they're boats.
Kantai Collection.
That's the one.
Yeah, but it's not like sexy in the same way that Kantai Collection tries to be sexy.
I mean, maybe if it was sexy, it would be better because then it would have like one saving grace.
God damn. So this is done by Dogakobo. That's the Nozaki-kun people. And yeah, Token Ranbu Hanamaru is the first of 2 Token Ranbu animes to be coming out. And this one looks a little more like slice of lifey than whatever UFOtable's gonna do.
Uh-huh.
But basically the story is about historical revisionism and these swords coming back as dudes with their swords to fight historical revisionism.
Right,
it's kind of like a conspiracy. Because they're literally writing out history.
Yeah, I was going to say, calling them historical revisionists isn't enough of an explanation, because they're actually going back in time to change history, so they're literally
destroying these swords.
History. It's great.
Yeah.
See, I love that premise. That's amazing. But then I found out that it's based on some lame garbage, and then...
It's based on some hot mobile.
Yeah.
Did you put this on here?
Yes, I think so.
Time Bokon 24. Brought to you by Tatsunoko.
Based purely on the strength of the output of the director, who has previously worked on such classics as Love Alternative and Rosario plus Vampire.
All your favorite shows.
They're all there.
But this is another one of those Tatsunoko revision, or revitalization things.
Oh, I didn't even know about that.
Cause it's just like the Yatterman thing. It's just like...
what I was gonna say is, I do know that I like a lot of Tatsunoko's, like, goofier, like, really over-the-top children's shows, and this looks like it's kind of one of those, so I'll check it out.
Yeah. It looks more proper as a revitalization than maybe some of the other stuff they've done.
Yeah. When are they gonna revive Samurai Pizza Cats, man?
I don't know. Maybe next year.
It's about time.
We can only dream. Thanks, Tatsunoko.
Bless.
Now we're moving even faster in the not interested.
Moving on to
section.
the lightning round.
Yep, not interested. Our D list.
That said, I do have some things to say about some of these still.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But we'll get to it. Ajin Season 2.
Yep, it's
I didn't watch Ajin Season 1,
it's still
so...
2 3D for me, but I might watch it at some point just because the manga's so good, man. Damn.
I'd have to go to Netflix for it, and I don't have a Netflix.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I guess... Yeah, never mind. I'm not gonna watch it. Forget
And
it.
there's Bloodivores.
There's Bloodivores.
Bloodivores, one of, I think, at least 2 manhwa series coming to animation.
I know it's a manhwa because it has, like, this really weirdly overcomplicated premise.
About how, like, an epidemic happened, and then they had a medicine, and then it turned them into vampires.
And then it turned them into vampires, and then people hunted the vampires, but some of them are still around, and then one of them is a politician who is a half-human, half-vampire. And it all sounds bad. And
Bloodivores is a good name, though.
yeah, that is the one thing I was going to say. It has a good name.
And it's directed by the dude who did some of the Raka of the Six Braves.
Yeah.
Which you love.
I don't know which episode. I think one of the later ones, so probably not the...
One of the ones you disliked.
Yeah.
Then the other manhwa thing is Soulbuster.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, by Studio Pierrot, of all things. I think it is based on a Chinese, at least, story based on Romance of the Three Kingdoms.
Oh, yes, I do know that.
Is at least a degree separated, but it's still Romance of the Three Kingdoms.
Yeah.
That looks
It'll probably be about as good as the Samurai Warriors anime.
Goddamn.
I know that's not Romance of the Three Kingdoms. Don't comment telling me that.
So then we have Shumatsu no Izeda of Endings, which is a magical girl in World War II thing.
The only good thing about this show is that the girls ride like giant sniper anti-material rifles as brooms.
Yeah, anti-tank rifles.
Yeah.
And it's directed by the person who did Tribe Called Quest.
Yeah.
Honestly, if like, you know, if someone stops me in the middle of the street and puts like a knife to my head and is like, hey, you need to watch one of the 2 World War II Magical Girl series this season, I would watch this one.
There's another one?
Yeah, there's Brave Witches.
Oh yeah. Damn.
We'll
I agree with that.
So because I think this one looks better and maybe looks a little less
Lame?
exploitative than Strike Witches, because Strike Witches has a lot of focus on the fact that they're basically just wearing swimsuits all the time.
Yeah, Brave Witches is just super gross.
Yeah, so this one, I feel like, has a little more of an artistic angle to it.
Yeah, this one also just looks more inspired. Like, riding an anti-material rifle as a broom is really good.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I probably still wouldn't watch it. That's not my thing.
Yeah. Unlike Magical Girl Raising Project.
Especially not my thing.
Yeah, me neither.
By Lurch, and it is a battle royale series, but they're all tiny, tiny girls.
Whoa, did you accidentally skip to the next one? Because that's true
No.
of the next one also.
Yeah, but that one has a series behind it.
Yeah.
Magical Girl Raising Project, all the designs look so booby.
It still sounds like you're talking about the next show, too.
Look, I get it, but Magical Girl Racing Project is weird because they all, I think, are supposed to be like 13, but all of them also wear like really revealing outfits, and it's weird. But basically the premise is that there are too many magical girls, they have to kill each other.
Oh,
Anyways.
Slow down, Genrobuchi.
Anyways.
Next up we have Vivid Strike, which is the new lyrical girl Nanaha thing?
Yeah,
okay.
sure
I wasn't
is.
sure, I guess, because it has it has a lot of really awful character designs, and one of them has green and red eyes.
And also the last Nanoha was Vivid.
Oh, I didn't know that. I just knew because all the character designs are bad, and one of the girls had the 2 eye colors.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's the only one that's ever done it.
It's definitely something that I know is a calling card of this.
Okay.
But Lyrical Girl Nanaha always strikes me as like the least interesting of battle series could ever be.
This is okay.
Because the only one I've ever really seen any of is the one where it's straight up just they're at a tournament fighting each other, and it was bad.
All right.
Like, you think if all you have is just these kids are gonna fight each other, you'd give them cool fighting styles and have them
You'd make good fighting.
and make them do the good fights, but they didn't. It was really bad. Fucked up that the director of Glass Lip's gonna do something bad.
I can't believe it. Oh man, actually, quick aside about Magical Girl Raising Project. Looking into this, I also learned about something called Magical Girl Sight, which the main thing is that the magical weapon that the main character has is literally a gun.
Wow.
Like, literally
just like in the new Death Note.
Oh, fuck! Uda no Prince-sama, Maji Love Legend stars the new Udapri series by A1.
Okay.
But apparently not directed by the guy who did the other Udapris. I don't know how Udapri every year keeps finding new ways of like, oh, the girl couldn't decide which boy she wanted to date, so they just moved up a year anyways. Like, I feel like they should have graduated twice by now.
And maybe they just keep getting pulled back a year. But like when they find out that all these kids are doing is like lusting for each other, and they're all
right,
grades are bad.
And I think it's one of those things where because it's not a series with like a proper ending to it, I think it's one of those things where like, oh, we don't want anyone to feel left out, so we're just not going to choose.
So has it been the same characters the whole time?
I think they added a character at some point, and they've added rival groups, but for the most part, it's basically just been the same.
All right. Speaking of basically just the same,
Iron-Blooded Orphans, Mobile Suit Gundam Season 2.
The new one. I hope that an animation as good as the kid running through the cornfield is going to be in this one.
Yeah, I hope that kid is alive still.
Because that was good.
But yeah, so this is just more Iron-Blooded Orphans. If you liked that, you'll like this.
That's not a guarantee.
Probably.
Maybe.
I mean, as far as I understand, it's literally all the same staff, so I can't imagine the story getting too different.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Oh, my Gundam has a sword and a gun.
No. It's not called Swordman.
And then Idle Memories. It's an idle thing.
Yeah.
It's an idle thing. That's about it.
Yep.
I think that's it. I don't even think there's like a twist to it. They're idols, but also they're extremely attractive.
What? Man, I prefer all those shows about the idols that are way ugly.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
And then there's Kaido Joker Season 4. That's more Kaido Joker.
It's okay. I watched one episode of it at one point and I had fun, but it's not really my thing.
Isn't it like a spin-off of Conan?
I don't think so. If it is, that would be really weird.
Author, at least.
That could be.
Then we have the second season of H12, A Little Heart Pounding.
This show is so ugly.
It doesn't look good. And from the bonus episode we did a couple seasons ago, I learned that it's a lot about learning how to deal with puberty. So it's for children, like young girls who go through that.
Okay, that's alright then. Then I'm okay.
But also, apparently it's boring as shit.
Oh, okay. I mean, that still puts it up higher than what I had originally thought it would be.
Yeah, for sure. It's nice.
Alright, this next one's really important. Oh, you weren't done.
Ping Pong Girl. No, let's talk about the important thing.
This show's really important. Ping Pong Girl. I don't know. It's just about girls doing ping pong, and I don't know why you would ever.
It's about middle school girls playing ping pong.
I don't know why you would ever make a ping pong show anymore after the really good one came out, and you're never gonna make a better ping pong show than that. But goddamn, if Yasuhiro Irie, director of the entirety of Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, storyboard artist on Cowboy Bebop the movie, and also director on Cairo Phantom Memory, isn't gonna try.
He pissed someone off at Kinema Citrus.
Or maybe this is like his dream project, who knows?
Yeah, maybe he is doing all these like prestige things just to be like, but then I want to do ping pong girl. Who knows? I don't understand how you can go from like one of the greatest shonen anime of all time to Ping Pong Girl. It does seem weird, but I guess that's the thing about directors is sometimes they don't get to choose, but usually it's within a genre or a studio. It's weird. Yeah,
but you'd think that this guy would get to choose. Like, this is a pretty good track record, but hey, it's a cutthroat business.
Then there's Nobunaga no Shinobi, which as far as I understand is about a little tiny ninja warrior who kills Nobunaga. Or works for Nobunaga.
If it has a different premise than that, it's probably not as good. So,
anyways, this is a children's show.
Yeah.
It probably won't come over. Then we have Matoi, the Sacred Slayer.
Is this a new Slayer thing?
I don't
Slayers,
think it's related to Slayer.
Sorry.
I don't think it's related to Slayers. I thought this was a second season of something.
Oh, it could be. I don't think so.
It's a magical girl thing that I'm not interested in. Check quick, though.
Yep. Oh my god, the description on it is so long, I'm not going to read all this.
It is 2016.
But yeah, it is.
She's a shrine maiden, and she becomes a magical girl and hangs out with some magical girls.
Man, just like, oh my god, did you hear that the author of Girl Meets Bear was in on the anime ending? Like,
I didn't
he
know
had
that.
okayed it.
Oh, what?
Yeah, right? So I was right. They were in cahoots.
How dare they?
I know.
I can't believe this collusion.
Ugh.
Oh, something that's not on here that we should say. What was that series? The Regalia, the Sacred Seven Stars, or whatever.
Do we have to mention this? Because that's basically just continuing from last season.
It's not. It's completely starting over.
Oh, okay.
Actus has decided they're just going to straight up, like, go back, touch up the first 4 episodes, and then also continue on.
Okay.
So Regalia, the Three Sacred Stars, is basically completely new. They're gonna update stuff, and they're gonna actually finish it this time.
All right.
I'm not watching.
Yeah, me neither. I hear
but
it's
I thought
okay.
we should bring it up. Yeah, I hear that the 2D mech stuff is good, which is good because 2D mech stuff.
I'm into it.
Next up, Nanbaka by Satellite.
I'm not into that.
They got huge feet.
They do have
and
huge
I don't like
feet.
The art,
It's so
and
weird.
I don't like the art style.
Yeah.
There's something about the art style that makes it look too overproduced, but also the character designs are like a little too like unfinished. It seems.
It reminds me of Prison School, visually at least.
Okay, because so like first of all, the colors are just like blinding.
Yeah, it's very loud visually.
Yeah, it's very loud visually, and I don't know. There's more about it. It's just it turned me off a lot just by how it looks.
This was the very first thing that Crunchyroll announced they got this season, right?
Yeah, because they have the manga as well.
Oh, yeah. That makes sense.
It's got like some guy who looks like a stereotypical Nazi.
Wow.
And the entire PV, like, I think its main joke is that it keeps censoring everything.
Okay.
Because there are a lot of beeps and boops over words.
It's about people in prison who still try to have a good time.
Yep. And also escape.
Yeah, I guess. That's part of it. If you're gonna have a good time in prison, I think that's one of the... I think that's
Next up,
mandatory.
Season 2 of Bishoujo Yugi Unit Crane Game Galaxy.
This is the really bad 3D one.
Yeah. It's the one that a lot of people disliked because apparently the original also had 15 minutes of the voice actors like playing crane games and having fun outside, and they just cut that from the Crunchyroll simulcast.
Oh, what?
Yeah, right?
That sucks.
Messed up. Then we also have Season 2 of Bungo Stray Dogs. We didn't like it.
Yeah.
So we're not gonna watch it.
I'm not into it.
I still like hearing all these, like, American authors getting picked up. It's like, oh, it's crazy because it's just, you know, fucking Mark Twain or whatever as like a villainous magical dude.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I still like the premise of Bungo Stray Dogs, and the execution was not for me.
Yeah, it was not great.
Then we have Drifters. Woof. Oh, Drifters.
Drifters is based on a manga by Kota Hirano, who is also the author of Hellsing, one of the worst manga of all time.
It's the best, actually.
No, it's not one of the worst manga of all time, but it is very bad, and it basically just rode off the coattails of Trigun into popularity. And Drifters is even worse, but this looks great, and I hate that it does.
It looks really good, visually.
Yeah.
As far as I can tell, it looks like they basically have their own studio to build it.
Yeah, it's called Hood's Drifters Studio, so I'm pretty sure the studio was put together just for this.
And it's being directed by the person who did a lot of JoJo's.
Yeah, but not
actually.
the good part.
And also Hellsing Ultimate.
Yeah, well, he was episode director on Hellsing Ultimate.
And so, okay, so Drifters is like historical fan fiction, basically.
I guess.
It's just, here's a bunch of people from history fighting each other. Which, you know, that's dumb enough to be interesting.
Why couldn't the new Berserk look this good? Like, I don't know, what is the Hellsing author does that makes him it so that his bad series keep getting these great looking adaptations?
I mean, yeah, that's weird, because you'd think Berserk with the prestige it's had, but I guess also it hasn't had an anime in forever. But neither is Hellsing, so I don't know where they're getting that. I don't know. It's
well,
weird.
I think it's different because Berserk was licensed out, and I think this might have been a homegrown project.
It might be.
Yeah.
Like the dude behind Hellsing is just like, I've got a lot of money.
I don't even know that he does, but man, he knows how to get
he funds
stuff
it
made.
himself.
People who really like Hellsing don't even like Drifters.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Really?
Well, not everybody, of course, but there's a lot of people I know that think
Yeah.
Hellsing is good, that think Drifters is bad.
Okay. I mean, Drifters, like, just the idea of a bunch of people from history just fighting for no reason sounds fun.
Season 3 of Amero Coco.
It's still Amero Coco.
It's still a short show. I think it would be better as a whole show. But, I mean, hey, it's alright. That dog's still really cute.
They've used the same picture for the last 3 seasons.
That they have, yes.
And there's more card by Vanguard G.
Yep.
And then there's the I've Had Enough of Being a Magical Girl one, where she does magical girl stuff in her underwear.
Yep.
And then there's Kiss Him, Not Me, which at some point sounded, funny enough, and then I read more into it and it was kind of gross.
Oh, okay. What's the basic premise of this again?
The basic idea is that there's this girl who suddenly becomes very attractive through, exercise and losing weight. And a whole bunch of boys want to fall in love with her. But she's really into yaoi, so she just wants them to kiss each other, and so she's distraught.
Right. That's kind of funny, but I don't know if that's funny
There's
enough
kind
to
of a
carry
joke to
whole
it,
show.
but then also a lot of it is like, oh, there's an arc where she gets fat again, and they can't decide if they love her anymore.
Oh.
And stuff like that. Just, Weird that the director of this also directed things like Bubblegum Crash and Gunslinger Girl.
Yeah.
That seems like a weird switch.
I just realized there's a thing that's not on here, and I only realized this because the premise of it upsets me a little bit. It's To Be Hero, which is like this parody comedy superhero show about a guy who designs toilet sheets, and then one day toilet seats, sorry. And one day he gets sucked into one, and he becomes a superhero, and he gets tasked with saving the world, except that he's fat, because, in One Punch Man he gets bald, and in this he gets fat, that's the joke. And
I think he's also bald.
Alright, hot up and...
I'm looking at To Be Hero.
Hot up and coming parody writers. Here's a tip that I really want you to take to heart. You can't parody comedy. It just doesn't work, because it's already funny. Especially if it's good comedy, you can't do it. Because you're just going to be stealing the same jokes. If you ever watch Scary Movie, it just steals a lot of the jokes from Scream. And then there's the Wazop part in there, which is not funny. And there's a part where he hides behind a curtain. That's a pretty good joke.
I don't know how those guys keep making money off of their parody movies.
One of them is in the new Lethal Weapon reboot.
What?
And he plays the I'm too old for this shit. Like the Wayans brothers, one of them is Danny Glover's I'm too old for this shit. But he looks like he's 20, even though he's older now than Danny Glover was when he was in Lethal Weapon.
Oh my god.
Yeah. But unlike Lethal Weapon, this doesn't look like it's going to be good.
Speaking of not good.
Oh my god.
It's time for the thing.
We really gotta stop doing that. Like, speaking of not good is not funny anymore. I say that after having done it 4 times this episode.
It's time for the poo-poo garbage.
There's at least one thing in here that looks good, but it still belongs here.
Looks good visually.
Yeah.
It's not My Wife is the Student Council President season 2.
No, that is not it.
It's bad.
Yes.
And gross. And the first episode starts with the lady being like, if you vote for me for Student Council President, I promote pre-love. And then she throws condoms into the crowd. Which, I mean, that's cool.
That's kind of funny.
But then there's the rest of it, which is all boobies.
Yeah.
Then we have Brave Witches, which is like
boobies.
Strike Witches, which is a lot of crotch shots. It's also the other World War II magical girl thing.
At least it looks like this one they're not in their swimsuits.
Yeah, it looks like they might be wearing at least shorts.
Yeah, and they have ears, I think. I don't think it's like that in...
Oh yeah, why do they have cat ears?
I don't know.
And also other animal ears? That's weird.
I mean, that's just the way it was back then in World War II.
Google Strike Witches, Brave Witches timeline. So this is a sequel. Okay. That's about it as far as I can figure out. Anyways.
I guess they're not brave anymore. They lost all their fortitude.
They stopped striking. Now they're just brave.
Oh, right. It's the other way around. I'm sorry. They got brave.
Yes.
Okay.
Then we have Anatori XX, sequel to Anatori EX, which is watch these cute anime girls do workouts and also be a little sexy.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, if it inspires someone to work out, good for him, but I don't think that's the intended audience.
It's really bad, because the first episode, it's like, okay, here we work out, and then afterwards, there's a gag where she goes to eat cake. And it's like, any dietitian worth their salt will tell you that, like, no matter how you end up going about, like, trying to exercise, the one thing you should never do is eat fatty food after exercising.
Right.
So that is like, how do you mess that up in the first episode?
It's messed
How
up.
do you get that so wrong?
And then, we have maybe one of the better looking things this season.
Based on just the PVs, I think this is the best looking show this season, and that upsets me a lot.
And it's Keijo!
Keijo!
With like 8 exclamation points.
This is a show about this rare Japanese sport where 2 women, I mean, I guess it doesn't have to be women, but usually it is, standing on this tiny circular platform inside a pool, and then they try to hit each other.
This is like a bigger circular platform. Like, it looks like it's a tournament level of this game.
Yeah, and what they're trying to do is they're trying to boop each other off of it with their butts.
But they can only use their butts or their breasts.
Yes, and I guess they're on a bigger platform because they bust out some hot anime moves based on the PV.
Yeah, and also there are like 4 people fighting at once.
Yeah, and I hate how amazing this show looks.
It looks really good, and the thing about the first PV was that it's skirting that line where maybe it knows how much of a joke it's telling, even though it's not subverting it at all. Because the first PV was like the very dramatic sort of like Hollywood sort of thing. It was all in English. And it was sort of like this in a world, you know, these bodacious breast fight kind of thing. Like, there's a humor to that is almost charming until you realize that they're still going to play it straight regardless.
I mean, they have to. I think doing this as a parody wouldn't be funny because it's already a joke sort of on its own. Yeah. So you have to, like, make it campy, I guess.
Yeah. It's so bad.
Yeah. I don't know.
Keijo is maybe the most explicit fan service thing maybe this whole year.
I wish I had it in me to watch this because it does look like it is going to be a tour de force of good animation.
It's going to be animated really well.
But I think even like beyond the fact that I'm a huge prude, it's probably actually going to be really boring outside of the action scenes.
Yeah.
So, pass.
Because who comes for the characters in this?
And someone's gonna come.
Characters.
Someone's gonna come. All right. I would cut that out.
So that's all the shows. We're watching quite a bit, and a lot of it is crossover, which is nice.
Yeah, that means we're gonna have a lot to talk about. So we look forward to the next mid-season review. It's gonna be 4 hours.
Yep, and it's gonna be lots of discussion. I think that's the best thing, though, is that being able to discuss things.
It is, yes,
rather than just tell.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes I have different opinions than you.
Weird.
Yeah, fucked up, right?
Mm-hmm. I mean,
but
you know, sometimes you're wrong. That's the way it is.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Look, everyone's entitled to their own opinions. Just sometimes one of us is wrong.
Yeah. Sometimes it's me. Sometimes it's you.
Yeah. So let's take a quick look at the most anticipated series this fall from Japan.
Oh, right.
And let's see how it adds up. So, cumulatively, we're the top 10 we have Haikyuu Season 3.
Alright.
We have Natsume Yujin Go.
Okay.
We have Sound Euphonium 2.
Sure.
We have Bungo Stray Dogs Season 2.
That's weird. I thought the first season of that did really poorly.
I don't know. I feel like I didn't hear much about it at all.
I think there was definitely one show at one point that did, like, impressively poorly for how high profile it was. Wasn't that this?
Maybe? I'm not sure.
Oh, well.
We'll look into it. Udapri.
Okay.
Was there. March Comes In Like a Lion.
Mm-hmm.
Iron-Blooded Orphans. Ajin.
Okay.
Token Ranbu. And The Great Passage. So we're sitting at a good 4 of 10 that match up. That's
a pretty good list. This is very savory.
Yeah. What's weird is none of the ones then match up until like number 18 where we get to TQ and Pakozudan.
Okay.
It's a lot of stuff like Show by Rock, Kiss Him Not Me, like things that are adaptations.
Yeah.
Drifters makes it into a hot number 12. But yeah, so it seems like it's a lot more adaptation stuff that those audiences would be more familiar with.
Right.
Yeah. And Natsume Yujin Go high on the men's series too, which is pretty cool. There was also a poll I ended up dropping from the discussion that was like shoujo series that men would recommend to others.
Okay.
As sort of like a thing. And that shows up there as well as other things like Fruits Basket, sort of your more typical, like, not genre breaking, but sort of the more encompassing is in terms of like what their audience is.
Yeah.
Those that aren't so like specifically into a particular form of, whatever that men and women can enjoy together.
Mm-hmm.
Like My Love Story, Chihaya Furu, Your Honey and Clovers, that kind of thing.
No Nozaki-kun?
No, Nozaki-kun doesn't end up on this list. And I wonder if that's... I don't know why that might be. Because it does seem like that's the sort of comedy thing that dudes would be into. I don't know. That seemed like a weird missing thing from this list.
Yeah, but, oh well.
Also, I think it's funny that, the predominant group of them said, like, oh yeah, I'll just read a shoujo series if the main character's attractive.
Well, hey.
Like, sometimes it's that simple.
That's kind of strange, because I think a lot of shoujo series is like, isn't really, the female characters aren't drawn in a way that is, like, female characters that are drawn to be attractive to men usually are. They're always, like, have this, like, weird, like, overly cheery nature to them and, like, the really large eyes.
I guess so, but I think, but they're not saying that the characters seem cool, it's just the particular art style.
Right.
Which, to some degree, I kind of get. Because it is very much a beautiful art style if you look at traditional shoujo. Like a beauty pop or or an Oron or things like that. The idea is to make them sort of these attractive girls to give you the idea that, everyone's going to be going after them.
Right.
Fruits Basket a little less on that side, but I think Fruits Basket also has a lot more going for it.
I mean, if you say so.
I hear it's supposed to be funny. I don't know anything about Fruits Basket.
Okay.
Look, I'm just going to admit on this show that I just haven't watched any of the seminal series. It's finally going to come out.
Turns out you've just been bluffing this whole time. You haven't been watching anything.
Yep. Oh, and also we're watching JoJo's still.
Oh yeah, I guess.
That's still happening. We're getting into the good stuff. The better stuff.
Yeah.
And now, before we go, we've got some fan mail.
Oh, do we?
Yes.
Cool.
And as always, you can send in fan mail to us at chorpsawaysa, that's CHORPSAWAYSA @gmail.com.
I thought you were gonna.
I thought
you were gonna say, as always, is by QB.
No, QB actually doesn't have one this time.
What?
This first one comes from friend of the show, Onmarin.
Okay. Hello.
What makes fan service in anime tolerable? And is there a way to have it without feeling gross and unnecessary? Thank you for the question. I mean, there's totally a way to make fan service tolerable.
Yeah, totally.
Because fan service, I think, in a lot of ways just goes to, like, nudity or, like, risque stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like artistic nudity is something that is completely devoid in anime.
Right.
Definitely, you don't see as much of it. But it's not like that's something that's just been completely undefined.
No, but I also think that artistic nudity and fan service is not the same thing.
Yeah, so I guess if we're just excluding fan service, which is like the kind of like, the panty shot or something like that.
Uh-huh.
How to make that tolerable? Because there's definitely a way to do it without feeling gross or unnecessary. Well, to do it without feeling gross.
I think there's ways to do it.
I think it's harder to do unnecessary, easier to do not gross.
Yeah.
Because I think incidental maybe makes it the most tolerable.
Yeah, it just has to feel like it belongs there, I guess. Like, you shouldn't just kind of toss it in there in a way that the plot doesn't lead up to. Like, that's why, like, pool or beach episodes are so good, is because it makes sense for people to be scantily clad there. And
you don't have to do, like, weird stuff about it. Like, I think the thing that really makes it kind of gross and intolerable is the way that, like, if a girl trips and you see the girl's panties, right, and it's never brought up, it's unnecessary, but you move on.
Yeah.
There's nothing necessarily weird about it. It's when they do, like, the main character sees it and does, like, the zoom in and out on it, like, whoa! And they freak out. Like, that's where it starts to get kind of intolerable.
I think it's the other way around that they should do it.
Really?
Yeah, I think it should fit in the plot in whatever way it can. Like if it's just us seeing it for no reason, then they shouldn't do it.
See, I feel like when the main character just goes like, "Oh shit, I saw panties" or whatever, it's a little more intolerable because they're putting so much focus on
Yeah,
it.
I guess.
That, like, if you're gonna do that particular joke has to be handled really well.
I think at the very least, the way to make it not gross is really easy. Just don't put the characters that are being put out as fan service in a compromising position. That's all you have to do.
Yeah, I think that's the thing too, is like, if incidental fan service, I think, is a lot more forgivable than something where it's like very clearly like they're trying to make it look like it's kind of sexual.
Yeah.
Like the falling over thing, if a dude ends up on top of them and like holding their boobies, that's where it gets...
That's bad.
Yeah. Like I say that like putting a lot of focus on it is kind of bad, but Punchline goes against that, and that was something I enjoyed. But they do it so much that it ends up like turning over to be a joke that it keeps happening. So I don't know. I guess it is context sensitive.
You know what is good fan service?
Tell me about it.
Keijo. That is the way you should do it. I'm being 100% honest right now.
The entire plot is 100% like, you know this is going to be fan
this is going to be fan service. These characters choose to be in this position.
Well, sort
they
of.
are empowered in their being sexy, just like in Kill la Kill. And that's how you know feminism is over. I mean, no, wait, I meant shit. I mean, gender inequality is over.
I like how half of that was a serious answer.
Yeah. I mean, but I stand by it. The point is that it's not... You don't feel like a weird spectator in Keijo, because this is just the way this is. Like, this is not...
They don't act embarrassed about it. They know it's a thing they have to do.
They know it's the thing they do, and it's just perfectly normal.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not... I wouldn't call it perfectly normal. It's a weird sport.
It's a sport I don't think that actually exists in real life.
It does. I mean, it's not a sport, but people do it.
Okay. They don't do it for high stakes gambling money like they do in Keijo.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe they do, but not that I'm aware of.
So fan service is a weird thing. It's going to be very case by case. I think there are ways to handle it that in some shows totally work and some shows just don't. So it's going to depend.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are totally ways to do it.
I guess just the two things that you gotta avoid if you're gonna make good fan service: don't compromise the character that it happens to, but also don't make them too active of a player in it, because that makes you as the writer look weird. Like don't make a character like pop open their bra in the middle of the street because they're an empowered woman and sexism is over, because that's weird.
Right. I don't think that's one of those things anime tends to do.
I know it happens,
but also don't do it.
You ever seen Icon?
No.
Okay.
You want to tell me
No,
about
me
it?
neither. It's just like all the characters have all the characters have very large breasts in it, and they're very proud of them. And that crosses into like the weird territory. And I know that kind of goes against what I said earlier.
That's the thing, is it's so dependent on how it's handled. Yeah. And it's so dependent on context and kind of how it's treated, that sometimes things that we're going to say are like bad are totally okay. Or at least acceptable. Okay maybe isn't the right word.
I don't know about that. I don't think fan service is ever okay if a character is compromised for it.
Well, no, but what I'm saying is that particular one, but we keep saying like, here's a thing that I think is bad. Oh wait, but there's a show that does it well, so.
Yeah, I guess.
So I don't know.
But please don't do it.
We could just do with less fan service.
Yes. If you're gonna do it, go whole hog, and don't try to make a respectable, or don't pretend to build a respectable show around it, because it's so transparent every time.
And then we have one more question, which is maybe a little more general.
Okay.
From Lee. How do I tell the good anime apart from the bad anime? And do I even bother to try?
It's really easy, actually.
Yes.
Is there...
Well, okay, so do you bother to try? Yes. I think that it's worth giving any show a shot that catches your interest.
Okay.
So, you have an answer for the first part.
If there's a sword on the front, and the main color is red, that means it's good.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that you can tell.
That is the single criteria. All other shows are not good because they don't approach it. They don't approach the artistic medium in the right way.
Jordan,
but
we're trying to answer serious
questions.
Oh,
you're right. I'm sorry. If there's a buoy on the front, then it's even better.
Thank you. No, I think realistically the only way to tell if an anime is good or not is to watch it.
Yeah, absolutely. And even that is not enough because sometimes the show botches it like halfway into its run.
Yeah, so I think it's worth it to try watching an anime that interests you, just in general. Because sometimes it's going to be bad. In fact, I'd say that more often than not, you as a person are probably going to be disappointed by it, because things are not going to be for everyone.
Yeah.
But I think when you find the, handful of shows that you really like from a season or a year, those are really good.
Mm-hmm.
Anime is like TV. You watch a lot of it, and you kind of figure out what you like about it. The only thing is that anime is so hyper-saturated as a medium than anything else that there's just so much that you could watch.
Yeah.
Like, old host, future friend occasionally asks me, hey, is there anything in the next season that you think I'd like? And you know what? Most of the time I have there's one or two. Because he's got the sort of tastes that, doesn't fit a lot of what makes anime in a way.
Yeah.
The predominating genres, like high school, or sports, or high school sports. But, I think every season there tends to be at least one show for everyone. Sometimes even more.
Yeah. I think you could very much just depend on, if you think a premise sounds good, you can watch it, I think, because there's a lot of different people who come to anime for a lot of different reasons. I like my good, high-quality, complicated prestige anime. And I think, your average Sword Art Online ripoff is not just bad, but something that I could not get into. But there's a lot of people that really like that sort of thing, and just,
clearly
will consume anything that's even vaguely like that. So if you read the description of a Sword Art Online, and you think that sounds good, then you probably will enjoy it too, even though I don't.
Yeah, please don't take our opinions as fact. It's what we think.
As a matter of fact, don't take anyone's opinion as fact when it comes to anime. Just don't look up other people's opinions, or do. And if they say it's really bad, unanimously, then don't watch it. But if they say it's really good, even though you think I'm not sure about it, then don't listen to them, because anime as a genuine artistic medium is so young, that there's a lot of people with the wrong opinions out there.
And there's definitely, you can take some opinions as, okay, so if this person likes it, maybe I will like it. There are people whose tastes are similar to yours. But, a lot of people like things that I don't like, so it depends. It's a hard thing to figure out, and it's gonna have to be up to you to, because there's never been an easier time to access anime.
Yeah. What you can do is, if you do find an anime you like, then you can look online to see what other anime that are similar people think is good. Because at least within subgenres, you can usually find people with similar tastes pretty easily.
Yeah, for sure. And, even on something as, bad as the My Anime List, recommendations, people describe why they think those things are similar, and if they're the elements you care about, then give it a shot. So you, ultimately, if you want to find good anime, you have to kind of do some research on it.
Just a little bit. Just go to lifechart.me, read some of the descriptions, and just check one of them out, because they're probably going to be on Crunchyroll.
Yeah, a LifeChart is nice because it also has links to when those things get to a simulcast station. You can just click on them and it'll take you straight there. And, sure, if you don't pay the money, you have to wait a week, but that's fine. If you are the type of person who's just only cursorily into anime, you don't care about watching it as soon as it comes out. And yeah, it's an easy time to watch something, so just, search for something and give it a shot if something sounds interesting to you.
And also watch Death Parade, you'll like it.
Right. Death Parade is for literally everyone.
Yeah. Unless you're kind of grossed out by violence and blood, because there is some of that. There's a lot of
violence. But yeah, it's one of those things, ultimately you're gonna have to decide for yourself if you like a thing or not.
Yeah.
And I think it is worth trying, because sometimes anime tells a story that maybe wouldn't work in other media.
Sometimes it is good, despite what you may have heard.
Yeah. So that's all the fan mail we've had.
Yeah.
we are looking into getting a new iTunes listing done because Future Friend lost the email.
We have to say goodbye tunes to the old one.
Exactly. And so we'll be making a new one, and we'll let you know on our Twitter, twitter.com/Chaco_disaster, where you can find all the hot news about us. We don't actually post that much.
We only post like silly merchandise that we see.
Yeah, we post silly merchandising. We post when you can send us questions because we're doing shows, and we'll post when the episodes go up, and also if we ever get, like licensing deals.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's it for this season, this upcoming season. I am excited for a lot of the shows that are coming up.
Yeah, me too. It's looking like a solid lineup.
Yeah, we won't know because a lot of it's always a gamble. I don't
know. I think we have a couple of surefire shots on there, like Natsume and Haikyuu.
Yeah, Natsume. I think just because of it being a thing that Natsume and Haikyuu, because they're riding on the strengths of their previous seasons.
Yeah, and just based on my own knowledge, Fume wa Amu and Trigatsu, March Comes In Like a Lion would have to really screw it up to be bad.
Would have to really hack it up. Yeah. So, I think it's weird because I feel like this season, or this year, in a way, hasn't had maybe as many of those.
Yeah.
Or it hasn't felt that way.
Definitely not.
Like, it definitely seems like it's been a lot more gambles and a lot more like, this might be interesting, and this turned out pretty okay, but nothing like as stand out as a lot of other years.
Definitely nothing as good as Death Parade yet this year.
Yeah. But, I'm excited. I'm excited for how this year is going to end as far as anime.
Mm-hmm.
It looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh. No, never mind.
Okay.
Anyways, I've been Chorpsway.
I've been Jordan.
Next time we come at you, we're going to tell you about what happened to all the shows we were watching during summer. Did we stick with them? Did we drop any more of them? Did they turn out great? We'll find out then. See you guys then.
Don't forget to go to lootanime.com/chocodisaster to get 10% off your next Loot Crate submission.
We're not sponsored.
No, we're not. I wish we were. Contact us.